Hey, folks, I worked this week by request, and we'll cover this a little bit more in a little while. But I have worked on my part of the world's greatest newsletter dealing with wood turning. And of course, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about wood turners worldwide. Yes, this is it. This is in fact, today I had ran off a couple of copies to mail out to some friends. Because I had a hard time explaining to them how to get it and such and things, because I'm talking Mac to them when I'm talking how to unload things and it's simple and they're not using. So I had to go get my old Hewlett Packard computer out and sit down with one guy and explain to him how to do it. And this ain't working as it's supposed to work. It's that damn brain problem. But we talked last week and a week before that it's important for us to get the distribution for this newsletter way out there, because it's such an awesome piece of work and it's all done by volunteers. And we are probably one of the world's largest wood turning magazines or groups out there right now. And we want to get the word out. We want more folks to join in with us to share information. And I've said, when you see this newsletter, upload it to your server or your web page or whatever. And they say, but I can't do it because of the way it's formatted and comes into, we get it off the website. All right. If that's a problem, we have a fix and you can do it. And it's expensive because it's free. And it takes a little bit of this, and that's free. And it takes a minute at a time. So I worked with our editor and Dane and others. And what I've done, I wrote it out. These are the instructions. See them? Okay, good. I did this, and then I brought my wife in and asked my wife to do it on her laptop, not looking over her shoulder, just said, okay, Don, this is what I want you to do. And we do not communicate very well computer-wise, her and I. We really don't. In fact, I'm not permitted to touch her laptop. But she did it with me today, and she said, is this what they have all these problems with? Yes, because it's so easy to do. Don't build any problems in. In a little while, we're going to explain how it is. But if you miss it, the article is going to be in the next edition, volume 3, the third edition of Wood Turners Worldwide. It's going to be in there. We put the instructions. It's so simple to do, and you don't need a special program. To do that, I called my granddaughter. Don't laugh. This is the truth. I had a problem and I was telling my wife, I want to figure out how to do this on a regular computer because I can sit here and work it out on a Mac. Okay, I got that worked out. But then I can't explain it. So she said, call your sweetie, Lundy. I said, but she says, call London. And she'll tell you how to do it. So I called her. Now, London's grown up now. She's almost 13. Or she is 13, so she's getting way up there in age. She says, okay, what you need is Photopea. And you can get that, and she's rocking along. I said, whoa. Do I have to turn on the computer or something to record all this? And she says, no, write this word down. PHOTOPEA.com. That's what you need. Well, how did it? She said, just go online, get it. It's free. It comes in. Boom, open it up. That's where you're going to put the newsletter when you get it off your regular server, off your website. So I go to worldwidewoodturners.org, go to newsletter, download 0117, and I download it. I put a little folder on my desktop, right there. And then I go to Photopea, PHOTOPEA.com, and that was free. I got it right here on my computer. And then I uploaded it. And now I'm looking at all 8 pages of my newsletter right there in front of me. It's right on the screen, all 8 of them. And then I went over and it said file. And she said, see that file thing? Yeah. Pull it down. It's going to export. Export file. Click on it. So now what? She said it's going to say PDF. Is that what it was? No, pardon me, JPG. I get my letters confused. JPG. So I went to export JPG. Boom. Picked a spot in the folder I could put her in. Guess what I ended up with? I ended up with a JPG. I don't understand what that means for each of those pages. So now I can go to my Facebook page, my Instagram page, my whatever page, my website, my mail, whatever, and I can grab all those 8 of those pages or just one of those pages and put it in there and off it goes. I just took a copy of the newsletter or the page that had the picture of my work or your work or somebody else's work or an article written by somebody, and I got to send it out. And there was no hassle and no charge. You see, you can be part of spreading the word for our club newsletter. And that's why we have, I mean, we got a great editor. Joaquin puts this thing together, and it's awesome. And we put it together in a format for you to copy and share. That's why we did it. It was purpose driven for this. It's not restrictive for this. It's what we want to have just to share information. It's not how many bells you can ring. It's not how many BBs you get. It's just that you can share information and you get all these other people. And the more people that read it will contribute and then get in and then you've seen how things grow.
But
That's what we want. And we're looking for you to jump on board. So we'll go over these instructions in a little while if you want to do it. It's simple. I told you how to do a photo P. Now you can do it on your Mac. You can do it on your Hewlett Packard. There's a Dell back there, and a couple other computers that are old and ancient. These things are ancient, so you don't need a high fancy computer. In fact, it takes 15 minutes for the Hewlett Packard to come up to speed, just to do all the bells and whistles. So this is how you can do it. I'm going to put that information in the chat. Thank you, Ruby. I missed that. I was supposed to do that already. In fact, I was supposed to put the whole thing in the chat, but brain. But we want you to do this, and we want you to work with us. And it's a project, this has been almost 5 years in the making. And this is why we push it. It's because we're just on the tip of the iceberg, folks. We really are. You get me so worked up. And get this, tomorrow I got to go see the shrink, and I'm going to go in and he goes, how's your week was? You won't believe how my week was, and which is a good move. We're making these shrinks earn their money, and that's the veterans' money I paid in a long time, and I've really changed my life with. So I'm looking for you to get on board, help us out a little bit. And if you've got input for the newsletter, if you've got an article or a teaser or something you'd like, something you want to see, something you think we should cover, whatever, we have a simple address for you to mail to. It's called editor@worldwidewoodturners.org. How's that? Yeah, we're stuck on that name. Editor@worldwidewoodturners.org. Yeah, and you can put anything you want in there. And if you got a photograph you want Joaquin to use, send it in. And he won't use it right away because he's got a pile of stuff that keeps stacking up because everybody's sending stuff in. So as Joaquin, who's a volunteer, remember that, as Joaquin's working on our newsletter, he's picking through things, and it's not he's picking through the best. It's uniqueness. It's interest. It's what makes your brain click, 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 click. Remember the whole thing? The reason we do gallery every week is to tease your brain. the reason we want folks to bring forth their work is to say, look what I did. What can you do? And in this group, that's dangerous. That has caused some real problems, and probably we have some emotional distress out there from guys who say, "You did. Do you have any idea what happens when you do that to ducks or they start fighting against each other? And suppose you ask Matt if you want to decorate it, things like that. Well, that's why we do all these things. It's to tease your brain. I love it. I love it. Every week somebody pops up with something. Somebody says, "Oh, look what I can do. Look what I did." And you think about this, folks. Valentine's is not that far away. It's my 34th wedding anniversary on Valentine's Day. Yeah. And I've got the gift picked out. There's other occasions coming up. So you have to get the little special turning done between now and then. And then following that, you've got Easter early this year. So you always have to have a little trinkets for the kiddies. And last week we watched Doug Miller in his shop do a few little medallions. And he's using drops. Drops is a good term for it. Remember, there's no scrap wood in the shop, just incomplete projects. But to play with those, what I'm waiting to see, because I know one of you turners is going to come up with it. What I'm waiting to see is somebody's going to come up with a couple of jigs to fit on a vacuum chuck, especially the ones that, like Powermatic's got the foolproof one. It goes through the big Powermatic. Or folks that are refined theirs to make them simple, that run through the headstock on other ones that are very easy to use and operate. Take the complexity of it. Don't take the complexity out of it. Just think it through. And to hold those things, to turn them, because turning it can sometimes be a challenge. But if you saw what Bob did last week, and that video is online right now, as all of our demonstrations are, somebody come up with something on a vacuum chuck to show us how you can grab those small items. I did see in the recent edition of Wood Turning Magazine, which we are not sponsored by, we have no connection with whatsoever. I check the edition every month. I get it every month. I buy it through Amazon for $3.27, because every month my wife asks me, "This continually costs. Do we have to do this?" Well, she's really on me for that. And I said, yes, because I got to see what Duxbury's article is. And this one, yeah, really. He pops up some really great projects. And he did it. Well, that was wine bottle stoppers on a duck's jig.
You got it.
Yeah, and boy, nifty looking project. When you look at things like that, you sit, Jim, I'm sitting there looking at it thinking, you did that to the Duxbury jig. And then the other day we saw Joaquin Vincent do it with a duck. And then we saw, start playing with all these things, they all can wind together. And then all of a sudden you come up with some really, really cool stuff from a simple rig that you can build in your shop. Where do you get the instructions? worldwidewoodturners.org, of all places. And it's really cool. I love seeing that. So when you come up with something like that, share it with us. Write an article on it. Give it to us. Do some photographs. Oh, you got to talk about that when you do photographs, not just one photo. Okay. That's like if you ever been arrested, they don't satisfy for this. They want this and this. Okay. And that's what we want too. We want the frontal end, the side shot. We want to look around it. A couple of different photos. Let's look over the top. I don't have a problem seeing the bottom if it's unique. Even if it's unique. Let's kind of see how you held it, what you did to it. Pop a couple of photographs. They cost so much. Click, 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 click. It's not like the old days they had to run down to the Fox photo place and get them developed and all that.
Hey,
Three,
Captain.
three
Hey,
hundred people.
Captain.
Sir,
How can you pull up the first newsletter?
it's on it's on that same thing, it's on the same place. It's
Oh,
right
I can't pull it up. I keep clicking, but it brings up this latest one.
on the chart over there where it says newsletter. I can't look at the picture here.
Yes, it keeps bringing up last one. You can't bring up the first one, or
I
I
don't,
can't.
I'll take a look at it.
somebody will take a look at it and help you out with that.
Yep.
I can't look at it on this one, and you see, I can call it a
Hang
model.
on a second, Captain Eddie. I can share that just a second.
We got the editor on board right now.
Hang on just a second. Let me pull that up. Okay. On the website,
That's what I can't look at. There you go.
if you click the newsletter tab, you scroll down over here on the right, you've got the calendar, gallery, and newsletters. And then you should be able to scroll down, and there's the first edition of this year. And we're taking our time loading here. It is high quality images, so it will take it a few minutes to load.
And
Because
it's titled
it's print quality.
010324 or something.
Yeah, so that's volume 1, or 2024, January 3rd. Sorry, it was the publication date.
All right, what do you do now? You click on the newsletter?
Yeah, so you go to worldwidewoodturners.org up here at
Right.
the top.
Yes.
Click newsletter. Then
Right.
over here on the right, we've got the gallery with photos, we've got the calendar, and we've got newsletters.
Oh, okay.
And you can go back quite a ways. I think there's I think there's 4 pages of linked newsletters. No, there's 2 pages. There's 33 editions, and we're adding to them.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I found it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then once you minimize, let me show you how to do it on the Facebook page. So
Yeah. And that's see, that's what I'm looking at now on my iPad, same program. But and yes, I understand your confusion. That was my confusion. Is I kept clicking on a newsletter to get other newsletters, and but it was just this, no biggie. And folks, that's one of the pages where we have a ton of stuff stored on the website. And you got a few minutes, you're sitting there just cruising around, go through the website. I mean, David has done a wonderful job of stockpiling this stuff. And I'm so proud. We're one of the few clubs in the world that puts everything dealing with the entire club on the website. It's all there for everybody all the time. There's no secrets.
Hold on. Are we looking at the Facebook page?
Yes.
So you see, so this is the top of the page. So like whenever I'm making messages within the Facebook page, and I'm telling folks to go to the top of the page, all you got to do is click the Worldwide Woodturners group, and it'll bring you to the very top of the page. So here at the bottom, you'll see where it says Reels, Chats, Featured, Photos, Events, Files. If you click on Files, that's also where you can access the various stuff that we've got posted. And so V1, N1, Volume 1, Number 1, that's January 3rd. That's the first issue of the newsletter. If you click on it, it'll come up. And then the second edition, January 17th, is there as well. So you click on that, and the file Then you just click on the file, it'll download, then it'll be up in your wherever your stuff goes at for a download. Click on it. Adobe will start. And there's your newsletter.
And we don't have that old truck in the picture anymore. I had to get a bigger one because need more room.
Right? So, all right, so let me get out of here.
I didn't know that shortcut was there.
Yep. And stop share. There we go.
But hey, when you got a website manager like we have, anything's possible.
So we
And
got two
folks,
different
you have to
ways.
remember this. This is all free. And everything you see here is done by volunteers. Everything you see, which is the beauty of this entire organization. Boy, we're really cooking. 10 minutes after the hour, 6 o'clock Central Time right now. Good evening, everybody. You're with worldwidewoodturners.org, and we are together to talk about wood turning. We get a little off on some tangents at a time. Earlier, we cured all the weather woes of the world, and then we fixed a couple of political problems. But, we decided everybody just needs to get off their ass and go vote this year. So, we got all the things out the way. Now we got to concentrate on wood turning because we heard from a couple of guys that, they turned it in for wood turning. And I want to see what they've got done this week, because one of the important things, we were just talking about it, is tickling your brain to see who comes up with what. And that's the danger zone. So we're going to venture out into the danger zone for gallery items right now. So Dane, who's in the danger zone and where do we go?
Let's see. First danger zone is going to be no Band-Aids.
Oh,
Come on
what she's got.
down.
Guys.
You can set the tone. Hey, Craig.
Hey,
Yeah.
Brenda, before you get started, Brenda, today
What?
I ordered a baseball cap that's got a logo on it that looks exactly like that one over your left shoulder.
Sticker on my shoulder? Yeah, look at that.
A baseball cap. And
Nice.
I ordered on Amazon for $6 with the logo on it.
Nice.
Yeah. So when
I'll
I
tell
get
you what,
it,
I've still got one more sticker. So I'm gonna have to get me one more new toy.
all right. Well, hey, that works for me.
Yeah.
But as soon as I get it
Yeah.
worked out, I'm going to show it to y'all, and then I'll tell you how you can do it.
And you'll put the link in the chat, right, Eddie?
Everything in the chat, and everybody can do it. Everybody, but and better instead of that, I'm going to make it where you can all call Matt Harbor, and he'll explain it to you.
Yeah.
I don't answer phone calls unless you're already in my contact list. So
Be careful what you wish for, Matt Harbor.
good luck with that.
What you got, Brenda?
Well, first of all, I've got this here little cube that I
Nice.
turned. Now, I didn't turn out very well because the corner's all chipped up, but it's a square that I turned, right?
Well done.
Yeah.
Hey,
And when he was doing the
Brenda,
demo, I'm thinking, well, it's good dice,
with the corner turned that way, does it always end up on the
Excellent
same number?
No.
That's
No.
cool, Brenda.
Is there weight on one side?
No, no, it's not loaded. So anyway, then last week I went to a car dealership with my best friend and her husband, and the car dealer wanted a pen. So I made him a pen.
Wait,
Did
you
you
want
give her a
to
good deal?
exchange the car?
And he gave you a car.
Did you charge him the same kind of rate?
Yeah.
Outlandish?
Roll the dice for it.
Then I've been wanting a fountain pen since I started turning.
I saw that. That's pretty.
Yes, this thing is beautiful. I made it out of marble wood.
Nice.
And
I have to get one of those kits.
this
Very nice.
stuff here, this part right here, actually kind of looks purple. So I love marble wood.
Has it got a refill or a vacuum system?
It's got like a pump thing in it,
Yep.
Okay, that's what I meant.
refill pump.
You can
Yeah.
also buy the individual ink tubes and insert into the pen as well, Brenda.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is the first one I've used, so I used it the other day and with the lid on it, you know, and I'm like, no, that's too top heavy for me. So I can only use it without the lid.
Yeah, I never use my pen with the top on because it's way too heavy.
Yep, too
I,
top.
I
Too
I like it because
heavy.
I think it gives you, I think the having the lid top heavy gives you momentum to make big sweeping curves.
Johnny
Not
Hancock.
not if you're writing all the time.
Well, if you're writing with that, does the nib break into your handwriting? If you have a good nib?
Does the-
Well, not
what's
if you're don't write
Yes,
roll.
a good nib will break into your writing style.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I thought.
Oh yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yes.
The more you use it, the better.
That's
the
why,
better
you know
it is.
what? I sold one of these a few years ago to a guy in, well, south of here, one of my craft shows, and he told me that because of that, he never loans out his fountain pen.
Right, yeah.
He always carries his fountain pen with him to write with, but always carries a rollerball pen to go with it.
Yeah.
Because if somebody asks to borrow his pen, they get the rollerball pen, not the fountain pen.
right?
I'd get a
That makes
picture up here,
sense.
but I don't know how to get it, so
For
I've
that
just
reason.
got Bruce here. It's the first time I've been to one of these meetings, so
Yeah.
I'm a new guy.
Oh, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You're
How-
in
how
for
do I
a real
get- how do I
treat
get my
tonight.
picture up there, camera up there. I'm trying, I can't find out where I get the camera up there. I'm looking through the apps
Is
and
your
everything
camera
like
turned
that.
on?
And I just,
Is
you
your
know,
camera turned on?
yeah, that camera's on.
So on your bottom menu, there should be a little camera. It says start video or stop video. It's right beside your microphone mute button.
Uh-huh.
So there should be a camera right beside it. Click it.
Oh, there it is. I tried it before, it didn't work, so I'm here.
Might have double clicked it. Welcome.
Because I've done Zoom meetings before. I remember I said, okay, maybe that's just locked out for some reason. I had no idea, but I'm here.
Who
We
is
can
this
help.
again? What'd you say your name was again?
Bruce.
Hi,
I'm
Bruce.
looking for you.
Yes, uh-huh.
We can help you with.
Look on screen so we can share them.
Welcome,
Pretty
Bruce.
good.
I
yeah.
share up there, but there's a whole bunch of people up there, so.
Where's
Yeah.
Bruce? Uh-oh.
So this over
That's
there.
nice.
God bless you.
The Zoom night.
Thank you. Bruce, I can't find you.
Well, I'm here.
You may find Bruce.
I'm here. I'm all at the top on my screen.
Oh, who? Here. I found you. Is
Yeah, okay.
that you?
That's me.
Well,
There we
welcome, Bruce.
Thank you.
Yep, welcome aboard.
Yeah, I belong to the Annapolis Woolworkers Guild, and so I figure, I do some small turning, like wine bottle stoppers and stuff like that, and I try to join the other week, but I guess one of the guys on there said, you're already here, you've been here for a year. I didn't even realize I joined it a year ago, so.
Oh yeah,
I hit
yeah.
a
I
button
remember
and did
talking to you
something,
on
so I was
Facebook.
on there. So I said, I guess I ought to show for a meeting, huh? So here I am.
Nice.
Right
okay.
on.
Okay.
Good.
Great.
Good to have you
Whereabouts are
aboard,
you
Bruce.
from?
Thank you.
Where do you live
I'm-
at?
I'm in Glen Burnie, Maryland.
Maryland. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I used to watch Cat Millie when he come on Saturday mornings years ago.
Yep.
Date
Long time.
yourself.
He made
Alright,
woodturning
well,
fun.
Yeah, some of those
Nah.
videos still exist out there.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, they're all on YouTube still. Yep.
Oh no, this is his before YouTube for video turning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, Bruce, do you know how to do the chat then?
No, don't. I hold up. I got a pencil. I still use a pencil. I'll look
Yeah,
at-
okay.
I see
Down
the
there at
chat
the
screen down
bottom.
there.
Yep. Okay, hit that chat. and a chat screen will come up on the right.
Okay.
You got that? And then you can
Uh-huh.
type in there anything you want to, any kind of comments you want to make, or when you want to share something,
Okay.
right in there, I got something to share.
Yeah, it says
Yep.
to everyone
then-
down here. Just type the message there.
Right.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
Okay. Cool.
Or
Yeah.
you can even send somebody a special or private message too.
All you
Uh-huh.
got to do is click on everyone, and it'll bring up the member list, and then you go and find the name you want, select them, and it'll only go to them, and nobody else can see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to comment on something that somebody's made or shared or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. So
All
your
right.
first assignment, Bruce, is to put in your city and state. That way we can put you on the map.
Yep.
I should ask, when you do a chat privately, does that get recorded? Does that come
No.
out?
No, it
No?
does not.
No,
Okay. I never
nope,
checked.
it's totally private, personal.
You get it?
Why? What were you going to say, Jim?
I wasn't sure.
Glen Burnie, Maryland.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never know.
Right.
All right. Well, welcome, Bruce.
Thank you.
Mhm.
The snow's
That's all I
finally.
got tonight, too, gang.
All right. This is great. Y'all done, Brenda?
I'm all done.
All right. Let's go over to Doug Miller. Doug, what you got, buddy?
There we go. Hey, it's good to see all of you. I pulled this out of the stack the other day and turned it, and it came out pretty nice. Oh, now this is saying
I get
unmuted.
outside
Yes, it
lip.
did.
No,
There we
see it.
go. Okay. Well, my screen was saying I was muted still, but anyway,
No, we're good.
wasn't sure what it was other than it was burl. It's got some really nice sapwood, hardwood, nice knot in there,
It'd be
nice little
big.
void inside. What I think I've decided it is redwood burl. As I was sweeping up, the shavings were really, really red, and so I've kind of decided that might be what it
The
is.
fish face.
Yeah, and I burl agree is with just-
that assessment, Doug.
yeah. Yeah, Billy came on. A couple other people have said they thought it was redwood burl too. So I pretty well decided that's what it is. Nothing on here but abrasive paste and wax. I didn't put anything else on this one. Wished I had afterwards, but I kind of like it the way it is. It's got just a nice sheen to it, not a glossy shine at all.
You know what? It's actually a different design. I kind of like it. I like
Well,
that.
yeah.
a lot.
Really pretty.
It's
Yeah,
got kind of a
I like it being just different.
yeah. It's a nice little rim on it.
I like
So,
that.
Yeah, it's not very big. 5.5 wide and 3.5 deep. I think something in that
Yeah.
range. So anyway,
I like the way you made that come down like that. It's nice. It's
thank you.
different.
Thank you. Yeah, lots of
Beautiful.
nice pips on a lot of pips on the inside. So it really showed off, and I was ecstatic about it. That was a piece that was in the stack that was given to me. So I really had a good time with that one.
Doug, that one caught my eye too. It'll be in the next issue.
Well, I sent you the picture, so you got it.
All right, right on.
That's great, Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks, guys.
All right, let's go across the pond. Wayne, what you got?
Unmute.
You gotcha.
Right, so this was the piece I turned this evening on my live. It's a very nice piece of burr elm.
Oh yeah.
Little bit of detail in the bottom with some beads on there. Little bit of detail on the rim with some beads as well. Just finished with. It's had a couple of coats of lemon oil. Oh, that's better. You can get some of the grain there now with the light on.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
lovely, Wayne.
That's
Very
better.
nice. Beautiful piece of wood. Beautiful piece of wood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I actually thought it was going to take longer to turn. Believe it or not, this was 35 minutes. Start to finish.
And
Wow.
35
Everybody,
minutes and change.
yeah, everybody in the chat, all my earworms in the chat were trying to get me slowed down and not go as fast. But I'm
said-
sorry.
You said that
That's-
was going to be a demo piece. That's a really pretty piece.
No, it is just a practice piece. Now, the reason it's a practice piece is because in this area, I don't know if you can see, just in this area, I can actually pick the wood out. It's very, very punky in there. I can just pick the wood out, and there's some bits in the inside I can pick some wood out as well. So this is obviously a piece that just practicing the skills, and it's not going to go up for sale. It may well get returned. It's still actually quite damp in places. Some places are quite dry. Obviously, where the rot is in there, that's been drying for quite a while. But this area here, this is actually still quite damp and fairly hard. It's one of those funny things that you get with burrs sometimes, that you actually get. You get this is the dichotomy between the dry and the wet, where some parts are going on towards being rotten, and some parts are still fairly hard. But I picked up a load of burr elm just last week, and I haven't had a big load like that for a long time, so I'm going to be turning quite a lot of it in the near future.
Very good.
Nice.
Good wood
Very
to
nice.
turn. All right, thank you, Wayne.
Cheers, guys.
Very nice.
All right, let's
Hey,
go
Wayne,
to-
is you and Doug there? Are they brownie bowls you guys are making?
Sorry, Ron, what was that?
Are they brownie bowls? Those special brownie bowls?
No,
No.
special brownie.
No.
Oh, my
no.
word.
Nice one, Ron. Nice one. That was for
An
people who
insider.
weren't there. Yeah, for people who weren't there, that was from Doug's.
Somebody muted everybody.
Yeah, I thought the sensors jumped in.
No, hello?
I'm here.
Okay.
All right.
I
All right.
hear-
Well,
I
somebody
hear you,
needs somebody needs to explain the brownie ball reference. Come on, guys.
Oh,
Yep,
no,
quickly.
I think they're talking about Mary Jane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
okay.
it got a very quick mention and then got left aside last night in Doug's live.
Okay, right on. All right, let's go to Ruby. Hey, Ruby.
Okay. This was inspired by Doug picking up little pieces and doing little bowls. So this one is, here's the bottom. It's got 3 feet.
Oh
But it was
my.
just a pretty piece of wood. It was 8 inches in diameter and 2 inches thick. And I've left it about 1/8 of an inch thick all the way around. But the chatoyance in it was just
Amazing.
really neat. So
Yeah.
it'll make a good sweetie bowl. And then I
That
had
is lovely,
lying
Ruby.
around that got mixed in with some real ones. I'm hoping I can show this.
A little higher. There you
Were a
go.
bunch of cherries.
You made those cherries?
Yep, I made the cherries.
Oh, well done.
Oh, wait a
Oh,
minute.
wow.
What I did when I made them was that I used the stems from real ones.
Oh, that's cool.
And
And
I
that's
did
why
get
I
into
didn't want to go
trouble
after
with
you.
them because I had them on the counter where I was stealing the stems off the real ones. I went to answer the phone. My husband came in and he bit into one. He was not very happy about it.
Probably broke the tooth.
Oh my God.
Beautiful.
Those are really
That's a
cool.
compliment
Ruby.
to you, Ruby. They look real.
I
They
thought
do.
they
Those
were
cherries
real.
are
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
And Brenda, your pieces were still better than these two pieces, so.
No, 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 no. The cherries that done it. That's exactly why I didn't want to go after Ruby.
I
Right there.
thought she was showing real cherries.
Me
Yeah, I did
too.
too.
No, I don't think I want to bite into one of those.
Yeah, I thought they
I
were
was
real
going to
too.
say that's not what I call a bunch of cherries until you said you turned them. So
It's more than those have more than just a pit in them, right?
right?
Yeah,
Right.
the pit takes up most of them.
Yeah, right. It's all pit. It's all hard. Not ripe yet.
Pit,
You need to take them back to the store.
Yeah, I
Right.
probably could too.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
right. Wouldn't that be a hoot?
There's nice shading on them.
Thank
What do you finish them with?
That was just with an acrylic paints. And then I used, I think it was just a spray lacquer. I wanted them shiny because real ones tend to be shiny.
Oh, they look
Yes,
dark on
Jay,
one side.
these are Canadian cherries. They're only for the hardy people.
Yeah.
Okay. They're good for a beaver.
Yeah. Cold weather cherries.
Right, a beaver would definitely like them.
Yep.
So
How do you get the different shades?
just by brush applying paint.
Okay.
So some are a little bit lighter than others.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, just
When
like
you
nature.
buy cherries, that's the way they look. Some are a little lighter than others.
Yep.
So it's just playing with color, really. So the next
Right
time you
there.
buy some cherries, take a look at the variety of colors that are in your bag.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Okay?
Wormholes in those.
Very
Thank
nice,
you,
Ruby.
everyone, for the compliments.
All right.
Just
Well
beautiful.
done.
Just beautiful. My goodness.
All right. Let's go to. Let's see. Let's go with Todd. He's got a time constraint. Got you, Todd.
So I made this one. I call it the missing bite.
Yeah.
It is some
Yep.
elm. It's about 13 by 3.5. And I use my laser engraver to put my name on the bottom of it.
Nice.
That was one I did out of the elm. And then I just finished this one a little while ago. It's
Oh,
another
nice.
elm.
Oh, that's
Oh,
pretty.
nice. Yeah, that is pretty.
Looks like a
Well
buckeye.
done.
Really see inside, but I tell you one thing, sanding inside of it's pretty difficult.
Yeah. You
Tell
don't
you
have to
what.
stand very deep.
It's a pretty piece.
Yeah, it's pretty smooth. Yeah, it's pretty smooth 2 fingers in, but
Yep.
after that I can't reach it.
Yeah. After that, you can't
So,
tell.
Yeah,
It's pretty.
very true.
Yep.
Bead
Great
nest.
job.
Well,
What
those
kind
are
of
my 2
finish you
pieces.
got on
Very
Excuse me?
Nice.
Right on.
That's
Very
great.
nice, Todd. Very nice.
All right.
Finish. What kind of finish?
It's mainly beeswax and mineral oil.
Okay.
Very
I mix
nice.
it up myself, and that's pretty much all I use on everything.
Beautiful.
Right. Thank you.
Very nice. All right. Thank you.
Turning.
All right. Let's go to Mr. Dewey Johnson. Dewey. You're muted.
You're muted, Dewey.
No, I'm not. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're not.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, great. All right. Well, anyway, greetings from Crowley, Texas, the home of Texas's first brand new McDonald's. Anyway, yeah. Now they just rebuilt the McDonald's up here, and I tell you what, they went from a little place to a great big place, and I went by there this morning. They had two lines going into the drive-in, and it was backed all the way around. And evidently, they do a pretty good business there. So, but anyway, to get back to the matter at hand, got something on a show. I'm going to switch cameras on over here just right quick. And let's see if we can. There we go.
Wow.
This is a
Oh, yeah.
this is the elm bowl that I turned. Started out, I
Holy mackerel.
put black ink on it, and then I spray painted this silver acrylic paint on it. And then on the inside, I used some alcohol-based dye. Started out with yellow. You can kind of see a little bit right here. But then I had some dark red that I put here, and then went in with bright red afterwards. And then, of course, painted this in. And then I went ahead and engraved it all with a laser. And the thing I like about a laser is you can get incredible detail.
Wow.
That you can see.
Beautiful.
And
Yeah, that's cool.
here and here, all of this.
Oh,
And
nice.
Wow.
so anyway, and then my name's backwards. Oh well, doesn't matter. Anyway, then I went ahead and just finished it with a clear gloss enamel. Several coats of it on here. This one here, I put about 3 coats on, and then I sanded it, and then I put another couple coats on. And
Back it up a little bit, Dewey. It's a little blurry.
excuse me?
Yeah, back it up just a little bit because it's blurry. Yeah. There you go.
There's, you see that?
Yeah,
beautiful.
That's good.
It's
Thanks.
Yeah,
beautiful.
this
Yeah,
is engraved as well. So
I've got to ask you, doing the lasering on the outside, how did you hold it?
oh, glad you asked. I use a rotor. You see this rotor here?
Yes.
What
All
I do
right.
is I put it on the edge like this on the rotor. I've got a little bearing right here that I pulled off of a DeWalt scroll saw, and I put it on
Move
here
out the
there, and
way.
they're in the. Let me back this up. There you go.
Excellent.
And then this turns, and then I have something that hold it up, and this whole thing just turns, and the laser is right above it, and then it engraves it, and this thing's constantly going back and forth. So I engraved this in this configuration. I engraved from here down to here. Whoops, down to here, and then after that I turned it over, and then I engraved it in this configuration all the way around. Actually, this is supposed to be a pure circle, but because it's on the side and it was coming down like this, it engraved it into an oval, and I didn't
Yeah.
compensate for that. But
Cool.
that's how I do it.
Absolutely brilliant. Mad idea, but brilliant.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Very
Anyway, this
nice.
bowl is going to a charity auction where our club has what they call an empty bowls project. Basically, what they do, they donate bowls to the local food bank, and then they invite in people with lots of money, and then they take and auction off these bowls, and then the money goes to the food bank. So that's where this one's going. So
Nice.
hopefully it'll bring them a lot of money. So
Yeah,
anyway,
very nice.
anyway, thank you very much.
All right,
Beautiful.
well done, Dewey.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, go to Mr. Selby. Hey, Jim.
Hello. Hello. I made
Hey, Jim.
another weed pot, and
Could you
it
lift
again
it a
is out
little
of
higher, Jim?
and it again is out of Claro walnut, and I just drilled with a Forstner bit down in the middle, and it's finished on the Beal buffing system.
There you go.
Very
Nice.
nice.
Looks like it's
Pretty.
got some pink in it. Very pretty.
So thank you.
All
Love
right,
it.
thanks, Jim.
Looks good, Jim.
All right, let's go to Let's go to John. John, we got you.
All right.
We have you.
Okay. I'd like to share my screen if I could.
Sure.
Let's see if that will work. Yeah, here we go. Came across a piece of dogwood root a while back and thought I would do something with it. And that's the bottom part of it, and the other was the top part. Now, how do I get back to the... Okay. So this is the piece that came of all of it.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
This
Man.
is
Holy
this
cow.
is 14 by 15, and it has burl configuration here. Now this was the orientation of the piece in the ground. The tree was coming out here, and these were this is the root system. It had gotten some decay in this thing here, so it's a little bit thick on the inside, but I thought you might be interested in this.
It's gorgeous.
Yes, it is.
This was done when I had a little bit more strength than I do right now. But you know, when this thing is swinging around like this and you're going in here, you've got to watch for these.
I was going to ask how many times you got hit.
Swings on here, but anyway, that's what I got.
Hey, John,
That's really pretty.
John, tell them how you was turning it.
Well, I was sitting on the lathe, straddling it and going on the inside. And my friend Howard, who's one of these guys that's on the thing, he came over that day and he said, "John, don't you have a Holland system that you can use?" I said, "Oh, God, I sure do." So I got my Jemison Holland system out and we finished the rest of it.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun.
I bet.
That's pretty.
Talk about crazy.
That's good.
Wow.
Great job. All right, let's go to Craig. Craig, what you got?
Hey, good evening, all. A little suggestion. One of the was talking about sanding on the inside. This is something I made up. I just took a piece of oak, made a dowel, and you can take the sandpaper out. And actually, I didn't have. I've got the sandpaper for this out in my shop, but you can put the paper back to back and then put it back into the holder there.
Kerf.
And you'll have sandpaper on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And then just you go inside and just kind of flap it. But it works pretty good. I needed it for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I showed this last week, but it wasn't finished, so I got it all finished.
Looks great.
I got my calipers too, Dane, and that was so much easier figuring out how thick my walls were.
Great, good job.
Great idea,
But,
Craig.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
Well, my dad always told me, he says, you know, you don't always go out and buy something. You make do with what you got. So you got to figure things out and work outside of the box and everything.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And here's this guy finished.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, the shine you're getting.
It's 3 coats of polyurethane.
That's interesting. Looks nice, Craig.
Thanks. Well, I'm enjoying doing the oblong ones and then seeing what the sides end up being when
once they're turned.
Yep.
That's great.
Thank you. That's still some of my fogwood. This was actually live oak, spalted live oak.
Nice.
Like that one.
I'm getting down to the end of my fogwood. I saw this other finish on one of the videos on YouTube, the Howard's feed and wax, and I thought it was going to be a lot shinier, but it really isn't.
It's friction polish.
Just like the person on YouTube was saying, it feels fantastic. I mean, it feels soft. It's so smooth and everything. And this one here is one of my newest ones that I've turned.
Wow.
It's still in the process. And again, it's the spalted oak. And this is what it looks like prior to finishing.
That's really pretty.
Oh, thank you.
That's real pretty.
Yeah, and it's
Beautiful.
I'm getting better on getting my wall thickness uniform for the entire thing.
It looks like you like to spin air also.
Yeah, it makes it interesting.
Doesn't it? That's really cool.
And here's a little tip for people when you're used to doing oh, come on, what's this thing called?
Well, tenon.
A tenon, yeah. Well, when you're doing a tenon, then you decided to do
Mortise.
Yeah.
Mortise.
Well, this is what happens when you forget.
I got
Welcome to the Fun Club.
Club.
Looks like
I
a
kind of figure
pedestal.
I'm
You can
holding
make a
on to it.
pedestal.
I'm holding on to it because I'm thinking about turning a pedestal for a candle and put this on top.
We've all been
Go to
there.
recovery room. Recovery room.
Good night, Wayne.
And I've got beehives, so I started turning these.
Done a lot this week.
I've been having fun out in the shop. Oh, now, no sympathies or anything. I lost my wife a couple years ago, but one of the things that I've managed to do is my workshop is my dirty room. My kitchen is my
Finishing.
clean room.
Yep, there you go.
That's looking like my dining room table.
Right on the street.
But that's about it. But I thought, this come in handy, and all you got to do is just turn it and then take it to the bandsaw and cut your slots. And you can put that sandpaper in there and change the grit and everything real easy.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's it, guys.
All right.
All right. Thank
I
you, sir.
tried doing my finishing in the dining room. My wife had divorced.
Well, like I said,
Good, Mr. Davis. Hey, Ray.
Great.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Hey.
Doing good. We've missed you for a couple weeks now.
It's been almost 3 months.
Has it been that long?
Yeah. A lot of different things. But I've got a couple things to show tonight. About 3 months ago, I showed a practice one, and I think I got it down pretty good on this one here.
I would say so.
What's the wood?
That-
Great.
Very
that
nice.
is lovely.
The wood is maple, and
That's very pretty.
Cosmic cloud.
My God.
Beautiful.
This one here is about 14 inches across, and it was about two inches deep. So I thought it come out pretty good. I'm real happy with it.
Came out great.
Yes. Very nice.
It's real pretty, huh? My goodness. How long it take you to do something like that?
That goes pretty quick. I probably worked on it 3 days, 4 days, maybe. Then I
Did you
a
airbrush
little,
those colors,
mesquite-
Ray?
Pardon?
Did you airbrush those colors?
Yes, I did use the airbrush to move that iridescent paint around.
Right. Cool.
Oh,
And
the colors on that bowl look beautiful.
thank you. Yeah, it was green and purple and blue, and so this is a mesquite bowl that I did. And Dane, I tried to use your finishing process.
No.
Finally gave up on it, and
Oh no.
well, it took me about 3 weeks for it to dry properly.
Are you using polymerizing tongue oil or 100%?
Yes, I am. Yeah, the Minwax.
Yeah.
And I went back online to the website there and followed your instructions. But I just couldn't get the stuff to dry. Maybe it's because I live in New Mexico and it's kind of cold this time of year.
Yeah, it could be.
But I never did get the shine I really wanted on it.
Right.
It is still pretty.
It's a nice bowl.
That is a beautiful piece
That
of
looks,
mesquite.
yeah, that looks great.
Yes.
And then I just finished a project today for my neighbor who recently retired. And I made a pen for him.
Nice.
Oh, with a Celtic
Oh,
knot.
nice Celtic knot.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Inlaid?
Great job, Ray.
Thank you. I thought it come out very nice.
I bet he knows that you're a wood turner.
Yeah, and in fact, both my neighbors now are getting, well, one of them has been working with me, and this guy just retired, but he's redoing an old lathe that he got from his father, and he wants me to work with him on some of this stuff. And I'm presently working on a open segment bowl, and maybe I can show that in a couple weeks, but it's got 2,400 pieces.
Oh, goodness.
72 pieces per row.
Wow.
Wow.
33 rows. And each one of those rows is 0.15 inches. And my fingers get tired and putting those on. I can only put on 2 rows a day. So it takes a while.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Did you use, what kind of veneers did you use for the Celtic knot?
I bought this veneer from an outfit in Gilbert, Arizona, just up the street from Dane. And he has that. It's a aluminum, and then it has a plastic insert. It comes in a sheet. I think it's about 6 by 12, and you just cut squares out, and you can do your decorations, both the round or the
Celtic.
what do you call that? The
Celtic knot.
Celtic knot. Yeah.
Cool.
And that's on Paduke. That's a Paduke.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, nice job on
No,
that.
I was really happy with it. I think it's one of my better pens. And I use 38, what is it, 3304?
3408.
3804.
34.
And that's the finish I used on it.
Nice.
That's really nice, Ray.
That's all I got, guys. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Beautiful.
All right. Let's go to our safety director for a safety moment, and then we're going to go to our demo. Safety Sue.
I'm here.
We got you.
I I don't know how long I'm going to last tonight, but I want to talk about saws. We all have lots of saws. You know, one never have too many tools. Chainsaws, table saws, circular saws, jigsaw, reciprocating saws, band saws, cutout tools. You name it, and we all have it. But when we're working on them, I mean, like fixing them, if you don't have the ability for lockout, tagout, which is something that you put on the on-off buttons so that no one can come in and turn it off, turn it on while you're working on it, unplug them. When you think of that, it's like common sense, but how many people have actually reached underneath the bandsaw and the bandsaw wasn't stopped yet. How many people have just gotten a piece of wood out of a spinning table saw? And how many people, even with a lathe, move stuff around the lathe without it being stopped? Everything that we've mentioned, except for the reciprocating saw, is spinning at tremendous speeds. So if you're going to work on them, or even move something around them and you're not actually using them for cutting, unplug them. That way the kids can't grab them. Even some dumb adults can't grab them. So anyways, folks, be safe this week, and I'll talk to you next week. Take
All
care.
right. Take care, Sue.
Thank you.
Same thing goes for routers. If you're changing the bit, unplug it.
Oh, exactly.
Those
I
are
forgot
those
about
are
the
easy to
router.
turn on accidentally, and those things will get you bad
Oh yeah.
in a hurry.
I'll take your word for it.
Well, see, I got 3 routers. How many routers have you got, Billy?
4.
Yes, see?
I have 13.
Oh my goodness.
I'm with Sue. I got 3.
See?
Oh
So,
my goodness.
I'm
Plus a
4. I
Dremel.
got 1.
Does a Dremel count
I
as
got
one?
one.
It'd be 4.
well, if the Dremel were to count, I'd have a plethora. So no.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
Right.
But I have router bits for the Dremel. I only have 2 like official routers, but I have 6 Dremels, so
Yeah.
or maybe 7.
Just a quick
Alright.
note on that. You know, when Dremel first came out with the with the motor and it had the cord going to the head, that came out when I was 17. So
Wow.
we're talking 53 years ago, and I still have that in the original box. Don't ask me why, but I still have it.
That's funny.
Take care, you guys. Be safe
All
this
right.
week.
Thank you, Sue. All right, folks, it's top of the hour. So we're going to go to our demo we got scheduled tonight. We got Scott Tig online to do a wonderful demo for us. So typical protocol. It's Scott's demo. Scott's going to turn it and make it the way he turns it and makes it. All questions and comments, please hold them until the end of the demo. That way the demonstrator is not interrupted with his train of thought or his motion or his mojo while he's going at it. So I am going to mute everybody. And then Scott, I'll need you to unmute yourself. So I'm muting everybody now.
So can you hear me, Dane?
I got you.
Do you want to talk about what Brenda brought up that I mentioned to you the other day?
Oh, yes, yes. So going forward with the demonstrators, so it started this week. So Brenda brought up a good point about when we're demonstrating that the demonstrator needs to provide a emergency contact number on the off chance something horrible was to happen during the demonstration. So going forward, for the current folks that I've got scheduled for a demonstration, I'll be reaching out to you for a telephone number for a significant other that can be contacted in the event something horrible was to happen while we're sitting here watching. And or your neighbor, if you live by yourself, but some sort of emergency contact that we can get a hold of, or we have to call 911 from our locale. That telephone number would not go any further than myself or whoever is doing the hosting duties, which is 99% of the time is myself. But I think it's a good idea. I kind of feel bad I didn't come up with this, a long time ago. So kudos to Brenda, no Band-Aids Brenda, for coming up with that idea yesterday and passing it on to Scott, and then Scott passing it on to me yesterday when we talked. So anyhow, without further ado, I'm going to give the floor to Scott here.
And then Dane does have a contact number for me because I'm 75 feet from the house. If I would get hurt out here And my wife teaches card classes on Wednesday, so I have nobody at home. So
Right.
they wouldn't be able to find me if I was on the floor and couldn't make the phone call myself. So
Yep.
I think it's a great idea myself. So with that, I'm going to switch cameras. Hopefully this works. There we go. There's our project for tonight. These are picture frames. They start out turning them on the, cutting out a round blank on the table saw. You wouldn't have to do that. I just find it easier. They have just a piece of hardboard for a back, piece of plexiglass for the glass. You could put regular glass in it if you want. Most people don't know how to cut round glass. I worked for a glazing company years ago and I learned how to do it, but a lot of people don't have that skill or the machine to do it. It takes a specialized cutter to do that, and they're expensive. So I would use plexiglass if it was me. So we're going to start out with a piece like this. Took it to the drill press. I drilled a hole in it with a Forstner bit that happens to fit my chuck, so I can expand out against it, and we're going to go from there. So look, these are two practice pieces. This is a third practice piece. This one is white pine, which is really pretty. This one is African mahogany, the dark one, and this one here is the piece of box elder. So you can do this on anything you want. It's all in tool presentation and sharpness of tools and all that. So, and it's not difficult. It's pretty easy. So on with the demo. I'm going to spin you around where I can see you. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to put this on here. Get my light out of the way. Now these pieces I'm using are not perfectly flat. They're just boards that I had laying around. Some of them are twisted warped pretty bad. This one's a little better than most. Just make sure you got it on good and tight. It doesn't have to be perfectly true because you're going to true both sides eventually. So the side with the mortise is going to be your front. I'm going to start with the back. This will be the back side of the picture frame to start with. So I'm just going to flatten off the back. Face shield on. Actually, I won't put it over my headset, so I'm just going to wear safety glasses, but normally I would wear a safety shield. Turn the lathe on here. Oh, just a little bit. This piece is pretty balanced. I'm going to get it up to about 1300. I'm wearing long sleeves. This particular wood is African mahogany, and I'm allergic to it. So I'm going to try to only keep it on my hands. So I'm just going to start here now. Just do a pull cut. A little bit more. So I got this pretty well smoothed off. I'm not gonna worry about this right here for right now, because that's gonna disappear here in a minute. When you get it smoothed off, I bring my tailstock up with a live center in it, or whatever center you want. And I'm gonna make a poke hole in here, just so I know where the center is. Doesn't have to be very deep, it's just gotta have a mark for the center, as you can see. This has gotta be a little more than that. Okay. So now you're going to create the outside diameter. So I'm going to show you two different ways of doing this. I have a cold jaws that only goes to 8 1/4 inches. So I'm going to make the outside of this. I'm going to true up the outside and make it 8 1/8, just so I can make sure I can get it in my cold jaws and get them somewhat tightened down. This is the tool I'm going to use. It's basically a compass. It's called a beam compass. It's what they use to do giant circles. I have an extension that can go on here that I can do real huge, large circles. Giant circles. So it's just another way of doing a big circle. If you didn't have a way to do that, you could just make yourself a template and do it that way if you wanted to. Or try to measure it if you want. Grab this, the ruler. So in this, when you set this compass, only one leg slides. So this is the point end, and this is the leg that slides. I just take a ruler. Take a ruler. I'm gonna slide this to 4 1/16 or thereabouts. Well, what I did is I hooked the point in the end of the ruler behind the little metal piece that's on this stick ruler and set it at 4 1/16, which is half of 8 1/8, roughly. I'm gonna find that little poke hole. Just gonna draw a circle around there. Just like that. It's hard to see, so I'm gonna take a white pencil, put it on that mark, and just carefully spin it by hand. Try to hold the pencil on the line best you can. Okay, there you go. Now I'm gonna cut the outside of that down to match that. I'm gonna take my live center out because I don't want to poke myself in the elbow. Now I'm just going to turn the outside down to that line. Being that I only have one camera angle, it might be a little hard to see, but we all know how to make a circle, I hope. Now you could do this with a skew. You could do it with a carbide cutter. You could do this with whatever you're comfortable with. I'm trying to teach myself how to use the bowl gouge, so I'm going to use the bowl gouge. I probably shouldn't do it in a demo, but got to learn sometime, right?
That's right.
I'm just going to do a full cut across there. Quick cut back and forth till I get to just about to the line. needs to go yet. Just gonna check just to see how it's cutting, make sure I'm not getting big tear out. Looks pretty good. I'm just gonna double check it with a ruler. It's pretty close.
Hey,
Close
Scott.
enough, I think it'll.
Scott, what was the thickness that you started with?
It's probably, hang on. About an inch and a quarter.
Inch and a quarter,
So
folks.
Yep, so it's rough sawn mahogany. I got a pretty bad piece of tear out on the edge, but it's in the thick part here. So I think a lot of this will go away when I do the face, because I'm going to eventually come down to almost 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to take it down just a little bit more. I don't want to go too much smaller because it messes with the face of your frame, the thick width of your frame. So try to get a little bit more of this out. We'll get a demo, right?
Never fails.
But I have a trick that I might try if I can't get rid of it. So something I haven't done on the other frames. We'll see how it goes. So when you get it to this point, you got to sand the outside, because once you flip it over, you can't sand the other side. Well, I'm going to get a piece of 220. Give it a light sand. Is that too loud, Dane? Can you hear that?
No, you can't hear it.
Okay. What I did is I got a fan on the wall behind me, and it blows this dust away from my face. Normally I'd have my dust collector on, but you'd never hear me over that. I can guarantee that. So I'm just sanding this out with some 220, or about 800-ish RPM. Doesn't have to be super smooth because we're gonna still gotta have to face the front off. So that's not too bad. Got a little tear out. Some of this I'll take out by hand when I go to finish if it's not real deep. Just because. So I'm gonna put a detail in here just to try something different. So all the rest of these frames are flat. This one I'm gonna put a little detail in it. I'm gonna take a small carbide and just put a little groove in there. Let's see how this works. I may regret it, but we'll see how it works. That's interesting. Well, I just created a little detail in there. You can see that in the camera angle. Okay. I just put a little hollow in there. You can see that it's not centered, but it will be when I face this side off. And this side now I'm going to bring this around like this. And I actually flare this forward just a little bit so it creates a shadow line on the wall. Doesn't have to be much, just a little bit. If you're going to hang it on the wall, you don't have to hang it on the wall, obviously. But if you wanted to hang it on the wall, I'm just going to create just a little shadow line here. Like that. Pretty nasty tear out. Go ahead and a little differently. There we go. Got rid of most of it. A little more. Okay, the rest of that I'll get with the 220 sandpaper.
Mahogany's pretty dry, isn't it?
Yeah. Been in my workshop for 20 years probably, and it was kiln dried when I got it, so it's pretty dry. And it sands beautifully. Now this is the back, so you don't really have to worry about a lot of the sanding because you're not going to see it anyways. And you're only going to have just a little band left when you get done putting the ring in the back. So now, hopefully my little hole is still kind of there. This piece is, so there's two ways to do this. You can either mount it in your coal jaws or you can make a jam chuck. I'll show you how to make a jam chuck, but I'm probably going to do it on the coal jaws just because it's easier. If I was going to do these production, start turning these to sell, I would use the jam chuck because I can pop them on and off of here really fast. Do a whole bunch of these, flatten them off, cut the dado in the back that they need to cut, and then put the jam chuck in. By putting the jam chuck in, you lose the opportunity to take your scrap pieces and make something else out of them. Because you cut them down so thin. This one I did a jam chuck on, and the hole from the Forstner bit went all the way through. So you lose the opportunity to reuse a piece of the leftover piece. This is a piece I didn't do that, and it's thick enough to make a bowl out of. It's almost 3/4 of an inch thick. And if we got enough time at the end, I might make a bowl out of that for you. So now I'm gonna get my measuring tool back out, my beam compass. Now this radius is small enough that you can probably use a standard compass. But I'm going to use this because I have it sitting here. And I know that this disc, so when you determine the back of this, I'm going to put a 5-inch hole in the front, or a 5.5-inch hole in the front, sorry, for my picture. This disc is 6 3/4, which gives you a 3/8 lip all the way around your frame to hold your glass in your backing plate. Now, if you're going to put something else in here, you can adjust that lip accordingly. You know, you can do whatever you want. But this is from the places I looked at online that you can buy round picture frames. This is the dimensions that they recommended. So I didn't come up with that on my own. I stole that from other manufacturers. I want that to be lead coat. And I gotta put a piece of lead in my compass here. There we go. Oh,
I think I see it in the shavings.
what's that?
I think I see it there in the shavings.
Actually, this mahogany is so rough from not being planed first that it actually eats the soft lead off this compass real easy. So we want 6 3/4. We're gonna have
3 3/8.
Yep. So that's all I'm setting on here is 3 3/8. They're real close to it. Because we're gonna sneak up on this to get that center in there. Now if I can see my little poke hole, which is just barely there. I'll go around this again. I'll try to make the pencil line dark enough that I can see it without doing the white. This mahogany is so hard it wore that pencil right off already. Shot of white. Now we're not going to cut right up to that line right off the bat. We're going to sneak up on that line so we don't go over the size of our jam chuck. And this wood's got my nose running already. Crazy. I'm going to take a parting tool and just score me real close to that line. Parting tool's not real sharp, it looks like. I just got basically the outside edge scored. I'm gonna come back. You could do this with a negative rate scraper. You could do it with whatever you want. I'm gonna use the carbide because it cuts like butter. Now you want these, so the thickness of the plexiglass I used was 1/8 inch. The hardboard I used was approximately 1/8 inch. And then you gotta allow a little bit for your picture. So they recommended 3/8 of an inch. I'm just gonna, we're down to 1/4 already. I'll just sneak up on 3/8. And you can see how nice a finish this negative rate scraper or negative rate carbide does. Works really good for this. About a 1/16 of an inch more. You notice when I wipe this scraper off, I wiped it like this. If you go like this with it, you're gonna cut the heck out of your fingers. Ask me how I know. First time I used one of these, I thought I was gonna be smart and not touch those edges, but I did. And boy, was it sharp. Like cutting yourself with a really sharp scalpel. Just a little bit more. Just a 32nd of an inch. And this is important because you're backing is basically almost flush on the back. So if you don't cut this deep enough, your back plate will stick out a little bit.
Is everybody seeing Scott?
Can you see this?
Not when you talked.
Yeah, for some reason it keeps, the spotlight keeps popping off.
I had no problems.
Okay, I'm up to 3/8 of an inch now. Now if you're gonna flip it over to the faceplate, all you have to do is you have to take this lower than your outside edge out here. If you're gonna flip it over to the faceplate. If you're gonna use the jam truck, you have to take the center out. Or take it down low enough to get your jam truck in there. You don't have to go all the way down to the 3/8 depth, but you gotta get enough so that you can get on your jam truck at least 1/4 of an inch. Well, I'm gonna do that just to show you that you can do it with a jam truck rather than a faceplate. If you wanted to make these bigger and your faceplate doesn't go big enough, you'd have to use the jam truck method. So I'm just gonna take this and hog this material away. Doesn't really make any difference what the finish is unless you want to save it for something else. You have to remember you got a set of jaws in the backside, so don't go too deep with it either. Demonstration purposes, that should be far enough. This back on the track. Hold this back. See how close we are. We're not even close. Get this squared up as much as I can. Doesn't have to be right on top of it, but close. Now I'm going to take my, find it. I have a parting tool, skew. It's got a nice flat face on it. I have it honed flat. Instead of using sharpening it on a grinder, I've honed it flat so that it cuts on this upper edge here. So it actually scrapes the outside wall. You have to adjust my tool rest here, but we'll try it. Now I'm just going to sneak up on that white line. And this is a trial and error thing because you're making a jam truck basically. So this jam truck, I got it so that it's got a little taper on it. One side's a little thicker than the other. That's just in case you miss your diameter. Maybe the other side will work. You're basically using your skew like a negative rake scraper. Just get the head started. Try not to lose the edge. So see, I've missed it. But that's not a problem. We can still save it. So if you miss it, you could put some foam or paper towel around it if you wanted to. This is where it's nice to have a faceplate. If you miss it, it's not a big deal. So now we'll flip it over. But I can miss it. I've missed it more than once. That's why I went to doing it on a faceplate. It's easier.
Scott, when you're saying faceplate, you mean cold jaws?
Cold jaws, yep. I call them a faceplate. I guess they're cold jaws. Sorry for the miscommunication.
No, no worries.
I'll set that. Break that loose because we're not going to need it anymore. Put this off to the side. Put this where you guys can see it. So I have the Tommy bar style right now. I haven't bought a set for my Nova chuck yet. Now we're just going to flip this over. The inside groove is good enough. If you think you need to do more, you just do more. You really shouldn't have to sand it if you. The way I did it, I shouldn't have to sand it. Now I'm just going to flip this over. Got that just small enough to get in there. If you had bigger cold jaws, obviously you could do bigger picture frames on a bigger cold jaws. Get that snugged in there. Yeah. Still got a little groove in there yet. Enough. Before I get too far. Once you cut the back off, then it's going to be kind of a pain to reverse it if you had to fix it. Can be done. You don't want to squeeze super hard. Just want to make sure you're somewhat level. And just to make sure that this is on here tight, I'm going to grab this with my pliers. Okay. So now we're all set to do the other side. So now the first thing we'll do is face it off again. Now my nubs on this set of jaws, for some reason Dane it unhighlighted me again. So these nubs I have are roughly 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to stay just away from them just a little bit so that obviously I don't want to hit them. You don't have to cut right up to them if you don't want to. That's entirely up to you. The thickness of the frame is entirely up to you. You can make it as thick or as thin as you would like. Just to speed up the process here, I'm going to use the scraper again, or my carbide again. That appears to be pretty good. So you can leave this a little thicker and you have a little bit more room for detail. Cut me out again, Dean.
I don't know what the hell's going on with that.
I don't know. So if you leave this a little thicker, you have more room for detail in the face. So you got to remember now, you got this cut out here to 6 3/4. This is a good time to mark your 5 inches, your 5.5 inches before you get too far. If you go too far, you've cut your center out, or you didn't want to cut it out. Well, I come along and I'm just going to mark this again. And actually, I'm just going to cheat. Come in here. 5.5 is 2 1/4-ish. Hold pencil straight.
5.5 would be 2 3/4 there, Scott.
Yep, you're right. Sorry, Billy.
Yeah.
You're right. Good thing you said something. I thought it looked awful small. There we go. That looks better. There. So this will be the outside of your rim. Well, I'm just going to finish cleaning this up a little bit from the white line. I got a little bit of rough board here yet. I'm not going to worry about what's on that side because it'll be gone. Thanks, Billy, for the help.
No problem, pal.
Just a little bit there yet. Probably isn't a big deal because when I make my pattern in here, it's going to be gone anyway. So now if you wanted to leave that flat, you can leave it flat. I like a little step pattern. You can do whatever pattern you wish. We'll see what we come up with because every one of these I've done, I haven't done 2 of them the same. Right, the bevel in here. A little hollow there. A little hollow here. Remember, this is only, you got a 3/8 groove in the back of there. So when you get out here at this 5.5 inch mark, you know, you got thin, so you don't want to cut through here. Not yet, anyway. Round this over a little. Kind of like that detail, so I think I'll leave it for now. Now I'm going to go back to my carbide tool. remembering that this line, this thin line, is where I want the hole in the picture frame to be. Sneak up on that. Give myself a little room in here to work.
You gotta go outside.
Hey, somebody say something?
Just a hot mic.
So I'm listening for the sound now. Listening for it to get tinny like a snare drum. Then I know I'm just about cut through, and I'll switch to a different tool to cut it the rest of the way through so you don't get the tear out on the back. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, or did the mic muffle it out?
No, you could hear it.
Okay, that resonant click tells me that I'm real close to being true. So I'm just gonna give it a little more. Here on the edge. After you make a few of these, you'll get used to that sound.
Yeah.
And you'll
It's
know.
the sound of funnels.
Yep, it's the sound of a funnel. That's exactly it. So you can use one of two tools to finish that through, so it doesn't tear out. My preferred choice is this one. After I started doing a few of these, this one seemed to do the best. But not everybody has one of these. This is a diamond tool, easy wood diamond tool with the sharp point. But you don't necessarily need that. You can do it with a parting tool and just use the very tip of the parting tool. Come in here. And there you go. That easy. And you just pick that piece out.
Was that actually your skew?
Or my skew, not my parting tool. You're right, Billy. So
Okay.
this is just a skew, and I just used the very, very point.
The toe.
Basically used it like that diamond wood tool for the point action. Now you can come and you can see this is pretty thick here. You probably don't want it quite that thick. So now you can come back with whatever tool of choice is, and you can finish making this inside detail just a little deeper. You're thinning the ring, essentially, is what you're doing. But now I can see where it is, where before I didn't know what the thickness was. Now I can tell. Now I can do whatever I want here. This wood is so hard that it doesn't really give you great shaving most of the time. It's really hard. So I'm watching this over here. See the thickness that I want. I like just a little bit of roll over here. That's a little detail. Sharpen that corner up just a little. Perfect. So now you can do this with your skew very carefully. I'm going to use the diamond tool because I don't want to make a catch and have Dane have to make a phone call. I lay it out of the way, and I'm just gonna give that back edge just a little touch with the tip of this tool. Clean that up. Put it out of the way here. Put it down where I can see. So now all that's left is sanding. And you've just made your first picture frame.
How about that?
I don't know how long it took me to do that, but it didn't seem like it was very long.
About 50 minutes.
Great
50
demonstration.
minutes.
Thank you. Yeah, nice.
Outstanding, Scott.
So you can, from this point now, you can sand it, do whatever you want with it. So when you have a piece left over, like even this piece right now, it doesn't look like I can see light through it. But you could reuse these and make a little bowl out of them, depending on how you cut the back. If you don't waste a lot of material here and you know you're going to use your coal jaws, you don't have to flatten this out so much in the back like I did on the one that I did for the demo here. You can leave this thicker here. It just has to be just enough below the face of this back that it doesn't sit on these coal jaws here, so that when this cuts through, it pops in. So I mean, it's just got to be a couple millimeters off this coal jaws, and then you have enough left to make another plate.
Cool.
Another little bowl.
Yeah, you can make all kinds of 4-inch bowls and plates with that.
Yep, platters.
Saucer.
I think
this one and the shapes on the frame, you can just the shapes on the frame, you can just go all kinds of places.
Exactly.
Texturing tool.
So this one here, you can see I got just a little fine bead in it. This one here, oh, the lights are really washing it out. There we go. This one here is just a gradual. It's got a taper here down, and then this is flat. It has no bead in here, so you could make these any way you want. I've seen them online where they put like this one here. I just put that. You can't really see it on here. I can feel it, but there's that little cove in there. You can put that little cove in there. And the guy that I watched do this online, and I can't remember what his name is, a YouTube channel. He was making his out of construction grade lumber, and he was leaving them, and they almost an 1.25 inches thick, and they looked really neat, 1.25 inches thick. Wow. With all kinds of detail. But he also always made this inside, somewhere between 3/16 and no more than 1/4. This one's about 1/4 now. This one's about 3/16 or a little less. And the rest of them are about 3/16. But this one, I think it's this one I actually got it to fit the jam truck. I think it was this one. One of these I actually did on the jam truck. I think it was this one. Yeah, it was this one. It actually jams on there. So you can do it on the jam truck as well. It's just a little more refining, obviously you got to be a little more careful. Or if you screw it up, you can put a piece of paper towel in there to tighten it up, or you go to your bandsaw, cut another ring, drill your Forstner bit hole all the way through so it runs true. I found if you drill the hole all the way through, they tend to run true right off the bat on a piece of plywood. and then you just cut your plywood down to match your ring. You know, however you want to do it. So this one fits this. Like this side, it's snug. It's right on there. A little turn and it's not falling off. And I got to put pretty good pressure on it to get it off. Any other questions?
Yep. Anyone else got any questions?
That is
Comments?
just awesome. Awesome.
Nicely done, Scott.
Thank you.
Great job.
So the average dimension, I'll just give you some dimensions that I got off that website. And I'll find the website before the end of the meeting and put it in chat. So that because the website was really cool where they showed the picture frames. They made oval ones and round ones and square ones. But in the description of the picture frame, they actually did a cutaway where you could see the detail in the frame. So that's where I got the ideas of how to do beads and coves and whatever. So a standard 5-inch picture frame usually has about 7.5 inch outside diameter. So your inner circle would be 5 inches. Your outer circle would be somewhere around 7.5. A 6-inch circle would be 8.5. 7-inch opening would be 9.5, and so on and so forth. Somewhere around those dimensions. I made this one 8 1/4 or 8 1/8 because obviously I can't get those any bigger. I'd have to get extensions or different plates to make them bigger, which I'm going to do at some point because I want to make some 10-inch picture frames with a bigger opening. So I will get that site and put it on the website and in the chat so that you can find it and look at there was probably 100 different details. Give yourself ideas on how to put details in there. I did buy a carbide beading tool, which I didn't use. I haven't tried it yet, so I wasn't going to do it in a demo. I did buy one of Easy Wood's carbide beading tools.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to sacrifice something in a demo until I learned how to use it.
Chicken.
But you know what? Actually, using the skew or using the bowl gouge or a spindle gouge to me is more satisfying than using a tool that cuts the bead and then you're stuck with that size bead.
True.
So just another option for you. Another rabbit hole for all of us to go down. I don't know if you guys can see that. Is it washing out too much? How's that?
No, that's pretty wood.
That is.
This is cherry. Can you see the difference here?
Yep.
Yes.
That's gold, actual gold alcohol ink.
Wow.
Try it with the lighthouse. Try it with the lighthouse, Scott.
How's that?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
Wow.
So all I did, this board has just been plain. I put this is fairly thick when it comes out, and I'll show you that in a minute. I'll spin the camera around and actually show you how I did it. Spin it around over there. Here's my box of inks. These are nowhere near all of them that this company produces. These are the colors I like. So it's pretty. Let's see if I can back you out a little bit further. These are all my inks. They come pearlized. They're pearlized.
Is it Jacquard?
Nope, it's made by Ranger Ink and Tim.
Oh yeah. Tim Holtz.
Okay.
Those parts dry pretty quick, one thing, since they're alcohol based.
Yep, they dry super fast, and I'll show you that if you guys want to see it.
Yeah. Do what we were doing last night.
So
yeah, you know I want to see it.
Dana and I were playing, and I know Matt's going to want to see it. This stuff is sold. You can buy this at Michael's. Hobby Lobby used to carry it. I don't know if they still do. But it's in the card. It's in the card making section. The card ladies use all these inks, so they're super fast drying. They're used with paper or watercolor paper. So here it is right here, and you can see there's actual gold. This is heavy. It's real gold in here. And it's pretty cheap.
Could you hold that to the camera again a little lower so we can see it? There we go. Mix it.
If you go to Ranger Ink, click on products, it'll give you a whole list of different makers. And Tim Holtz is the one that I'm using, but they're all made by Ranger Ink. So it's just the card makers that are sponsored by Ranger Ink come up with their own colors. Tim Holtz comes out with a new color every 6 months. Sometimes they're pearlized, sometimes they're just alcohol ink. But we'll just shake this up good. There's a rattle in here. I don't know if you can hear that.
Yep.
Okay. So it comes with a really nice dripper bottle.
Dripper tip.
A nice spout on it. I'm just going to put a glob on here. It's fairly thick. So you can see how thick that is. Seal this back up because it is alcohol. It does dry fast. So now, if you want to play with this and really make some neat designs, it's self-leveling. And you can just move it around however you want. So it's pretty thick right now. And it would take a while for it takes a while for it to cure off if you leave it this thick. So, but being that it's self-leveling, I just took a piece of our normal paper towel and I just smeared it one direction. And you can smear it back over the stuff that's already dry. If you just have a light touch, you kind of work with it a little bit. You work it till it starts to dry. Takes all the brush strokes out of it.
Can you sand it in? Does it go real deep or no?
No, it sits on the surface. It's alcohol.
Nice.
The alcohol is the medium, and it sits on the surface. So that's the metallic colors. And I'll show you.
Think of gold leaf replacement.
Yes, it's better than gold leaf.
Why is it better than gold leaf?
Because you don't have the crinkly.
There's no crinkle and there's no flyaway mess.
Okay.
And by the time I'm done talking here, that'll be dry enough that I can touch it with my finger and it won't come off.
Okay. So you don't have to wait like 24 hours for it to cure. Okay.
And all this was because of that drop.
That was all because of one drop. Yep. You seen how far I smeared it all the way to the end on one drop. One nickel-sized piece.
Right.
So this is the ink. This is an ash handle that I made, and I used alcohol ink on here. So I put the ink on. 30 minutes later, I was spraying clear lacquer over the top.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if you had to put a finish over top of it.
Yeah, because it's dull. It's a dull color. Okay.
I guess shellac wouldn't be good for that though, right?
It would if you allow it to dry, fully cure. But I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't put shellac on with a brush or by hand. I would spray it.
Right.
Okay.
Because if you use it, if you spray it, you won't allow it to move. But if you go to put it on by hand, you could lift the ink.
Okay, that's what I was curious about. Thanks.
Yeah,
So-
and actually from experience, it will lift the ink.
So when I put ink on, I do it a little different than most people. I go to the ladies' makeup section, and these are wedgies that ladies use to put makeup on with. Well, I'll just find a piece of something. Got all kinds of scrap here. Let's see if I can find one that's smooth. Use a piece of pine here. So that's just a piece of pine. And let's do a little purple ink for
Hey,
Dane.
Scott, keep them occupied. I got to go do the insulin shot.
Yep. So Dane likes purple, so I did one of my tool handles the other day in purple. I'm just going to saturate this pad real well, like this. And put a drop on here. See how fast it moves? So you can just blend it in. Once you get these pads soaked with it, it works pretty good.
Looks like it's soaked in there.
Yep, it did.
It did.
It soaked in real well. And I picked this particular piece for a reason. I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to have a purple finger, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's just purple, straight purple ink, okay? Now I have a corresponding purple that's real close to that. I'm going to get another pad. I don't want to, because I can reuse that purple pad. You can keep reusing that if you remember what color it is. And I only have a couple of the purple, so I know what color it is. So that's purple now. Now I'm going to take, this one is a pearl. Got a rattle in it, because it's got some metallic in it. This is dry already, by the way. It's that fast.
That's why I use alcohol to dissolve my powdered fabric dyes,
Yep.
as it dries that quick.
I'm just going to make sure this is good to shook up because I haven't used it for a while. You don't want to squirt all the metallic out. So now I'm just going to take a little bit of this, put it on here, over this purple. And I'm just going to let that sit on the surface. I'll smear it just a slight bit with a clean one. I smeared too much of it off. But I can see the metallic in it a little bit. You guys probably can't. The other nice part about this ink is you can layer it. You can go over it as many times as you want. So can you see the metallic in there? See how shiny it is?
Yeah.
That's not wet anymore, Billy. That's dry already. So it gives you that metallic sheen right off the bat. So if you do that on a darker background, obviously it's going to be shinier, you know. If you did it on a black,
right?
They have a color here, which I thought would be a really cool purple. And that's really ugly. So I bought one called eggplant. When you look at eggplants in the store, they're a pretty cool purple, right?
Yeah.
They're not so cool. They're not so cool when you put them on wood. But it makes a great surface for other metallics. And that's the only reason I'm keeping it. Otherwise, it'd have went in my wife's supply.
It almost looks like a dark indigo.
Right?
Yep. So there it is on purple, or that's supposed to be eggplant. To me, that's black.
Yeah.
Looks black.
But if you take this pearl, and I'll just put a few drops on top of it. Used it basically as a backer is what I did. I'm just going to move this around just ever so slightly. Now can you see the metallic in it? I can see it real well here. It shows up real super well.
Yeah, you can see it.
It's a little blurry.
That's my shakiness. But you can see how the other one, now that it's dry, is really, really metallic-y. And it didn't hardly cover that other purple. You can still see the lighter purple underneath. So it's just some other things you can play with. There's 36, 30 or 36 different pearl colors. And the metallic colors come from smoky color, copper, pewter, pure silver, gold, bronze, and I think there's one more that I'm forgetting that are straight metallic colors with floating in alcohol. But it's just another rabbit hole for us to all go down. They even make yellow pearl. That's a yellow color that's pearlized, which I haven't tried yet, but it looks pretty cool. It looks like goldenrod almost, like the flower.
Hey Scott, show off your holder. Show off your holder for your bottles.
Holder for my bottles.
And your tub there.
My case?
Yeah.
So this is just a Tupperware Rubbermaid container, I think. It's got a lid. I just took a piece of scrap plywood, 3/4 inch plywood, and drilled holes in it just to hold them in here so they don't tip over. And then I can also, there's enough room to keep these in here. And one other color that I didn't mention is they also have these colors. They're called distress colors. So they look antique. They got kind of an antique color to them when you put them on paper. And so far, when I put them on wood, they've kind of done the same thing. It gives an aged look to it. It's right in the ink itself. And they come with an eyedropper, an actual glass eyedropper. So you could create dots with them. I sent Matt and I the other day corresponded, and they also make a thick version of this same material. It's almost like paint, and it'll actually, you can squeeze it on. It has the fine little tip like the metallics did, and you can make dots with it. It'll actually leave a raised dome dot. You can just dot it, just squeeze a dot wherever you want it. So go check out rangerinks.com and Tim Holtz, and have lots of time because the website's huge and there's all kinds of stuff.
Right. Hey Scott, you got that board that had the crack in it that we experimented with last night?
Sure. So this board's got a crack in it. Right there. So I squirted it in the crack and it came out the other side. Maybe you need some light, maybe? A little light. How's that?
Yeah, we can see it.
So now it looks like a vein. It actually came from the top of the crack and came out the bottom and gave a veining effect. So you could do that with any one of these colors and get the same effect. And if you didn't want it to bleed out on the board, say you had a bowl that had a crack all the way through, you could do it on one side of the bowl, and then on this side put a piece of tape so that it doesn't run all over and you have to sand it off. and it'll just sit there like these guys are doing with epoxy. But it dries fast. I mean, it's a quick fix. 10 minutes, you can be back to finishing your bowl.
That's awesome.
Just some other options that I've played with, that I'm playing with. And I like this die because it's easier to. I found it's easier to control than the RIT die. I can't talk to other dies because those are the only ones I've used. But I found it's easier to control, and it doesn't raise the grain because it's alcohol based. I know Billy's dissolving his in alcohol, so it might work better than just. I used it straight out of the bottle. I bought it in a bottle form, and I didn't like it that way. I haven't tried the powder, but I will to compare it to this. This is really shining now. I don't know. Let's switch the camera back. Now you can really see that glistening in that metallic, and it's very subtle. But I think the gold for doing, instead of using gold leaf, is way better. This is dry already.
That's cool.
And it doesn't seem to leave brush strokes in it. I mean, I used a piece of paper towel that's pretty gnarly, you know, and you can't see those marks in there. And this end, I just smeared it so I could see the grain through it, but yet it's still got a little metallic. When it hits the light just right, you can tell there's some metallic something on it. You know, a little
You
bit of
imagine
metallic
how that
oxide.
would look at. You imagine how that would look on an open grain piece like oak or hickory or something.
Oh my, yeah.
I was just gonna ask,
Rash.
how close to the, would you say, finish, that maybe apply that at the very end of what you want to do, and what you're doing, it's already finished. Should it be maybe applied then?
If you want it to sit just on the surface, I think I'd rather have it soak in just a little, so that it adheres.
I'm saying after it's done and cured, would you call that like almost finished? To
yeah.
I mean,
you're not going to do anything to it once it's cured.
Okay.
I mean, you could. I mean, I haven't tried it, but I guess you could sand it.
No. Hey, I'm just asking. Hey, it's just beautiful. It's just it's fantastic.
If you had a few ridges in it, just say there were some ridges in here that you wanted to get rid of.
And lightly sand like that, huh? Right.
This is 600 grit Abernet.
There you go. Yeah.
And you can see that it polished it.
Yeah.
And actually, you can see a little bit of the wood grain through it. I don't know if you can see it on your end, but I can see it on mine.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
All and this is a piece
from that one drop.
From one drop. Yep.
Pretty cool.
Good coverage.
And it's not terribly expensive. Those small bottles like he's using, I think, are about, from the website, are about $4.99 each.
The metallics are
at Michael's.
Metallics are, yep, Michael's, Joann's Fabrics. If you can find a scrapbooking store or a card making store, they're going to carry every color because it's huge in the card making world. I know a few of the guys on here know I've heard me talk about my wife. She teaches card classes. Just happens to be on Wednesday night when we have classes, which is cool.
Cool.
So she teaches card classes to ladies who want to make greeting cards. Instead of buying greeting cards from Hallmark or whatever company, American Greetings and all these other companies, they make their own. And I tell you what, I got a basement that's 13 by 24, and is her craft area. It could be twice as big as that, just to handle all the materials she's got for making cards. She's got metal dies that cut out shapes and forms, and I mean, it's just endless. Plus we got 2 Cricut machines, a Brother machine, and we're getting another new machine, so she told me today, and I don't remember what it is, but it's another CAD operated cutting machine / laser, I guess. She's going to start actually laser engraving cards too. Or
Are you
I
going to
should
use
say
some
I
of
am.
those inks on your frames?
I've thought about it. I just,
It'd
I
prob-
actually,
the gold would
Go ahead,
probably
Matt.
give you a nice gilding effect.
yes. So I have a piece of, this was one of the spare ones I cut out in case we blew one up. This is a piece of, oh God, now it slipped my brain again. Not popple, aspen. This is a piece of aspen, so there's actually no grain to it at all. It's kind of yucky looking, actually. And I'm gonna, this is the one I'm gonna try turning purple.
Mine's on it.
Hmm.
I'll put you
Oh,
away.
Scott.
Well, Scott, I don't know what the difference is between what you see and what the lighting is showing us, but I can see grain in that, and it looks like some
Yeah,
spalting
me
too.
too.
So this here is actually water damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that, but I mean,
Okay.
there's other grain in there and other
And
figure.
there may be, once I turn it, there may be some
Okay.
spalting in it that I can't see. I mean, yeah, you're
Well,
right.
it'd be-
There is some, now that I see it, there's some dark streaks here. But
It'd
it's,
be fascinating to see what the purple brings out.
Right?
Hmm.
well,
I'm thinking some texturing, and then maybe that antique eyedropper part thing, you know, maybe
Yep,
make them
The,
look
the,
antique.
the distressed ink.
Yes,
the
yes.
distress stuff. Yep. So, I mean,
Wow.
it's, I wouldn't have went down this ink rabbit hole, but my wife's got a whole wall of this stuff, like over 200 colors. So I just, when I need something, I just kind of, when she's at card class, I go kind of help myself, and then I got to sneak it back so she doesn't know that I took it. Because if I use it all, then she says, well, "Where's my bottle?" And it's never fails. She wants it for a class, you know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
No.
Must have fell on the floor. So this is going to be one of my special frames. This was from a tree that grew in my grandfather's yard or grandmother's yard, and it's been cut down for over 100 years.
Wow.
Wood
Got
with
curl in it.
story. I love it.
It's a piece of cherry that's got curl in it. I got about 30 feet of this left, 16 inches wide. So this is going to be a
I
picture
saw the
frame.
curl right away.
I'm going to make a picture frame out of this and put her picture in it.
That's going to be awesome.
And I'll show it off when I get it done. I just didn't want to do it in a demo and screw it up, you know? It's here though. But I mean, here's a piece of pine, just like the sister board to the one I showed you. You know, it's pretty warped, pretty funky, but it cuts beautiful.
And it's got
a lot of brown spalting in it.
Some good grain.
Have you got any suggestions on how to use a square picture inside those round picture frames?
I don't know. I suppose you would have to make your round hole. You'd have to probably do it, make your face your round hole, and then take some kind of router and router a square in the back.
Or use
use
a piece of mat and put in there.
Yeah, or
You know, the matting that they use for pictures. You go to a frame shop.
Yeah,
Yep.
frame in the square picture.
Yep, frame in the square. You could do that. Then you would cut your mat round and frame in your mat. But if you go to the card making store or Hobby Lobby, even Joann's Fabrics, they make a paper cutter that cuts circles. It's made by Fiskars, and I think it'll cut up to an 8-inch circle. 8 or 12-inch circle. So you center it on the picture or whatever you want to use, and it's got a little device that pulls out. You set it at the diameter you want, and there's actually a built-in ruler, so you know what it is. You lock it down, you spin it, you hold down on the center like this, Hold down on
Yeah.
the center of the machine and you just spin the little cutter around. And it'll cut right through the paper. I've seen
Gotcha.
them. I don't have one. My cutter is a little different. No, I'm not going to get one because I have this
Oh.
tool. So this tool, and get it out of here.
Look in the basement. There's probably one there.
Oh,
yeah.
Because my wife cheats and does it on the Cricut machine. So the Cricut machine, I can scan my photo in, print it on the photo paper. Then the Cricut machine puts identification marks on that picture, on that scanned image. I stick it back into the Cricut machine after I take it out of the copier. Stick it in the Cricut machine. Tell it what size circle I want it to cut. In 30 seconds, I got a circle.
That looks
Cut
like
the
a
perfect circle.
circle cutter.
So this is a multi-cutter. You can cut straight lines with it. You can cut glass with it. And these are made to hold razor blade knives or different cutters. And you can cut circles with these. So this has a little point on the bottom. Set it over line it up over your center, and you just spin it around. It makes your circle. And you just hold down on this. It has little grabby feet, and it'll cut your circles. But most of the time, like for these pictures, I'm gonna take the picture I want is already scanned in my computer. Take it to the Cricut program, download it in the start a new job, download it in the program, tell it to print. It'll print the picture on whatever I want to print it on, whatever fancy photo paper. It puts little alignment marks like this pad has on it. It'll put alignment marks out here. Stick it in the feed of the Cricut machine. It'll run it back and forth through on a special mat that it sticks to. And I can, after it feeds it in, it'll ask me what size circle I want. I'll tell it I want a 5.5 inch circle or 6 3/4 inch circle. It'll just run it through that machine and the machine will cut the circle. And I can cut shapes. I can cut triangles. I can cut hexagons, whatever you can imagine, that machine will cut. I can even take our logo and put it in that machine and cut it out to make an iron-on or a sticker where doesn't have a background. It's just it'd be just like the lathe and the letters and a ring. If you wanted to see your machine color through the back of it, like it's endless what you can do with a Cricut machine or a Brother machine or the one that Matt has. I can't remember what that one's called. That does the same thing.
Silhouette Cameo.
Yep, Silhouette Cameo is another one that does it. There's all kinds of those machines out there. Just all in what you want to spend. And what they have for software. Some of them have good software, some of them aren't so good.
Yep, I use mine to cut out airbrush stencils too.
Yep. Yeah, you can anything you can draw, you can cut.
Yep, you download an image into the program, and the software is pretty easy to use, and you can resize it. So like those leaf plates that I airbrush, it's all the same leaf, just resized a couple different sizes.
Yep. I've even cheated, and I bought some Velcro back sandpaper the other day, and I wanted some 3-inch sanding discs for my hand sander. I put them on the sticky mat upside down so I didn't wreck the Velcro side. Went in the machine, I laid out a 3-inch circle. It asked me how many it scanned in my piece of sandpaper so it knew the dimensions, and it told me how many circles, 3-inch circles, I could get out of one 8.5 by 11 piece of sandpaper. And I told it how many I wanted.
I'm totally gonna have to try that. That's a great idea.
Put it in there, and I had all the circles I wanted.
Wow.
But once you do that a few times, you know, obviously that little fine cutter is going to get dull because you're cutting through the sandpaper. Even upside down, you're still cutting through the sandpaper.
Right.
But
I would think
the
it would
cutters are
sharpen
kind
it.
of expensive. You can't sharpen it. They're tungsten carbide. They're basically like a scalpel. They're unsharp and they're so small, Brenda. I don't know how it is on Matt's machine, but the one on my machine, on my Cricut machine, is so tiny that it's smaller than a roller ball on a pen.
I was
Mine
just
is
thinking the
actually
same thing, Chris.
Mine is actually pretty good size. It looks like the standardized, like if you buy a hand scalpel knife set and you get some of those ones that spin around, it's a lot like that. So I haven't even tried to replace mine, but I should. It should be a lot easier to replace than what those small cutters that come on the Cricuts.
Well,
Chris said cut the
fits.
sandpaper circles on a laser. I'm going to try that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can do it on a laser too. So on my Cricut machine, Matt, I have the new one. I have a pretty new machine. Comes in a encapsulated housing, and it looks like an ink cartridge. All I do is unscrew the cap, tip it over, the old one falls out, I drop the new one in, it funnels it to the front, screw the cap on, put it back in the machine.
That sounds pretty easy.
They made them a lot. The first machines were horrible. The first one we had was horrible to change blades in. The new ones are awesome. And I think the new one that my wife is getting, that I'm going to get to use because I got to run it. She doesn't know how to run CAD. She hasn't figured it out. So, which is good for me. It has a rotary cutter in it. So it actually rotates. It must be similar to like a carbide cutting tool that we use. And it rotates that cutter as it gets dull. It runs it in a circle. So, and we'll be able to cut fabric with the new one. Where we can't do that with the ones we have right now. Because we can't put that rotary cutter in there to cut fabric. But that's my rambling for the night.
Outstanding. A lot of good information passed on there.
Yes,
really
it
cool,
was.
Scott.
Thank you, Scott. All right,
I
let's
have too
swing
much time on my hands.
Let's swing back to Captain Eddie and see what he thinks about all this. Hey, Captain Eddie.
Wow, you filled my bucket tonight, buddy. Looks good. All right. I'm looking for a little help, Jim Duxbury. Been trying to scratch that spot in the middle of my back. Jim, do you have a solution for that with a back scratcher type thing coming up?
Oh, B, you got that issue? I write the article and I'm the last one to get the issue. I haven't seen it.
You just got it. The issue on Wood Turning Magazine showed up while we were talking. It came up and said, "Do you want to download this?" Yeah. And of course, I always look to see if Jim Duxbury's article's there.
There's two of them.
There it is.
Okay.
That's the article right there in Wood Turning Magazine. I get a subscription through Amazon, or I buy one through there, and it's $3.29 or $3.27 a month. And it's an interesting book magazine. We're not sponsored by it. We don't get anything from this, okay? But we always tell you it is a great source of information. This is a true wood turners magazine because it addresses wood turners, not turning artists. This covers the basics. These are some basic things. And that's what you look at, wood turning. It's out of Great Britain. It's really cool. And there's a bunch of other ones in there. I didn't want to take away too much from the meeting and read the rest of it. I will read that thing. I'll wear the print off of it in the next couple of days. But it's a source of information that we search for. And search for, we have many outlets to dispense this. And one is right here. You look at each week. And it's this week we had 114 members live at one time. Then the repeats will happen, and the reviews will happen after that, and it just goes on and on each week. The newsletter's out there, and the newsletter's for you. And if you like to copy the newsletter, and distribute it on other websites or your Facebook page or whatever, say Joaquin selects one of your pieces to be photographed in our newsletter. You've made big time, boys, girls. Yeah. You want to take that page and send it to your family, your friends? Yeah. Well, in this month's newsletter, we'll have a little description of how you can do it on your home computer. You can take this out of the PDF format that it comes in. And that's the format that we posted on our website. And you can convert it to a JPEG. And you can do that on your home computer, no cost. No problems, no third party or anybody else. You do it, and all this stays on your computer, so you can have it right there. That's part of the information we're looking for. I also have mentioned tonight that we do have club stickers available. Last year, we bought into a couple of thousand club stickers. They're 3-inch round stickers. I was teasing Brenda about it a little while ago that she's got it on her workbench or chair, and they're all over the place. You saw one in the background just now on Scott's demonstration on the side of his lathe. Well, our goal is, I think it's Dane's goal, is to get one on the side of every demonstration lathe in America or the world. And to do that, we have these things. And look, it's 10 of these stickers in an envelope mailed to you for the cost of $5 total. If you live out of the continental United States, would like you to say send us $6 because I have the additional postage to go on there. But I sent a whole bunch to Jim Cleary. I think it's Jim Cleary this week for him to use at his the Florida symposium coming up. So we trying to get the word of the club out. And that's a couple of ways. You want a club shirt? I don't know if you seen anybody with a club shirt on. Yeah, wait a minute. There, wait. I think I can find somebody with a club shirt on. There it is, right there. See that? See the logo on the side of the shirt right there. Dane had that done. You can get that done to your shirt if you like to have it done too. And the instructions on how to get it done are on our front page of our website. It's that simple. You see, we want to spread the word. Oh, wait, you don't want to do it screen print. You want to do it in embroidered. Well, Bob Grinstead had the embroidered pattern made up so you can take it home and do it on your home embroidery machine. Got one right over here in the studio. Yeah, I'm not allowed to touch it, but otherwise I'd have all kinds of stuff embroidered, you know. But it's these things, and working on hats right now. It was a fluke. It happened. I was looking for a new ball pen. Went to Amazon, bumped into something. We're going to give it a try. When it does work, we'll put all the information in the chat. And did I mention, folks, the chat is wide open and it's free. We're not sponsored. We're not restricted. We're not limited. We do the chat each week. We had a new member stop in tonight. We welcome them. And we told them, go over the chat, put any information you choose into the chat. Yes, but that's where we want you to put information. If you have an IRD coming up that you're hosting or you're attending and you want to spread the word on it, put it in the chat. If you have a club meeting, if your club is open enough to say, we're going to do our meetings and broadcast them through Zoom or whatever, put that information in the chat. If you have anything else dealing with information, any kind of information dealing with wood turning, put it in the chat. That's what it's there for. And before you leave tonight, according to Donald in Australia, who's our chat expert, save the chat before you go. But if you miss it, remember, everything that happens here happens on our website. And this is where you get it at. Nobody else does this. There are no secrets. Yeah, we talk about you, but there's no secrets. And if you have one, keep it to yourself, because all we want to do is share information. We got together 226 weeks ago to start this, and I think it's clicking along pretty good. I mean, look at tonight. You found out you turned around picture frame. Now that gets me going. Now, play with it. Now, he didn't play with it, okay? He turned you a basic one, showed you how to hold it, how to get around the details and some information, shared some detail and all. Take what Scott showed you tonight and play with it a little bit. Get out your beating tool. Do a little beating on it. maybe a little bit of accent work, earn some lines. Take it over to your laser engraver and all right. So you see where we're going? We're tweaking your interest here.
Make it your own.
All we do is plant the seed. It's you have to water it, you have to nurture it, and what you come up with is pretty cool stuff. And there's no limits. I mean, if you were to take that and tell Billy Burt this is what you got to do and there's restrictions, come on, get off. Can you believe that would happen? You know, it's not going to happen. And tell Matt you limit it in colors. Did you see Matt was doing this the whole time he was talking about those dyes and stains? Why? Because he was dribbling. You know, he couldn't hold back. Dyes and stains and inks and colors and all. Yeah. You see
that and
what we do.
in between skipping over to Amazon and putting them in my cart.
See, and all that gets shared right here. That's what we do. And that's why we have you here. If you got something to share tonight, let us know. We'll get about 20 minutes for the top of the hour. And that's when I duck out. But it doesn't stop. That's right. We go about 3.5, 4 hours on tape, but then we kind of throw it all to the wind, and it goes on and on and on. And some interesting things happen in the after hours. And it's your chance to ask those questions and cover those details and kind of bury your shorts a little bit as to, you know, what's going on here and what's going on there. Why did I get this when I cut that? And tonight, as Carl was cutting into it, he's thinking, Scott was cutting into it, he's thinking, I'm going to use my bowl gouge. And I was sitting back saying, I'm going to watch the presentation of this bowl gouge. Why? Because it's this right here. This makes all the difference in the world. It ain't that gouge. It ain't that lathe. It ain't that speed. It ain't that wood. It's right here. It's if you can control the presentation of that tool, it's how it will slice and cut and dig or chop or gouge or whatever. And apparently he's a little bit better at it than he was leading us to believe. He was just teasing us along by, I'm going to try this. Try it. Nothing. He's got it working. And if you got any
Captain?
problems and things like that, that's good. Yes, sir.
I got a little special news for you that'll put a smile on your face.
What's that, bud?
We have the youngest wood turner in our club with a new shirt with our logo.
Wow. And how young is that? 40?
It's Mr. Cade's son, Cash.
Oh, the miniature Cade. He is our youngest. He is our original youngest member. Yes.
So hopefully, I see Cade's on here. Hopefully, sometime soon we'll see our youngest member in his shirt.
And we're running to Cash's bedtime now.
Yeah,
real close to it.
Yeah, I'll settle for a share screen.
Yeah.
What is he?
Yeah,
3 years old? Do you have something up? You have a share screen?
Nope. No, I don't have him yet. He just got the shirt.
Okay.
Cade just sent me a message yesterday and said he got his shirt. So he hasn't sent me a picture yet, but I know Cade's on here. So hopefully he's got some pictures soon.
Okay. Cade is one of our older our senior members. He's been around a while. He's a professional turner out of Canada. Very good. Does excellent demonstrations for us. We need to get him back in the lineup again. And if you can do it with the skew, Cade can do it. And if you can't do it with the skew, Cade can teach you how to do it with the skew. He's very good.
I think Cade signed out.
You were on just a minute ago.
He's here. He's just not on camera right now.
Yeah, he just got home from archery. He's probably eating.
Yeah.
Take care of you. Got to take care of that baby.
Yeah.
Which is getting to be a pretty big boy, which is good. It's a family operation. Hey. All right.
Maybe he's asleep.
Okay. We have a lot going on, folks, and it's all up to you. So if there's something we can do here at Worldwide Woodturners to help you out, just let us know. Let's talk it over.
Maybe we need to call
And
the emergency number for Cade.
Yeah, I think we're
You're
good.
funny,
on that.
Brenda.
You're dealing with a 3-year-old. It's not an emergency. It's life.
Yeah. So how would a person get a hold of another turner in this group, Captain Eddie?
Call the contact list. You see, the older members or more senior members, I hate to say that term, older, more senior members, do understand this. We don't have a membership list. Why? Because to have a membership list, you have to have a membership. To do that, you got to do dues and all that other stuff. We don't have any of that. We're wide open to the world. If you wish to be part of our contact list, it's real easy. Remember the chat thing I was talking about a few minutes ago? Well, go to chat and you type in, what do you want me to know about you? Do I need to know your name, your address, the city, state, your mailing address, all that stuff? Okay, put it in there. You just want to tell me that I'm Billy Burton, I'm from Alamo City, Texas, and here's my phone number. Put that in there. If you're somebody else and you don't want anybody to find you, but you want to put your website up there, put that in there. Whatever you share with us in that chat, our webmaster will put on a contact list. Just that. There's no requirements, no restrictions, and it's not commercial. It's not commercial at all.
Where do you find the contact list?
He's going to explain it. Hold on.
Okay, I'll shut up.
Don't shut up. Just you asked a good question. All right. If you don't ask, we'll never know. If you go to our website under contact, there's a little bit of screen that pops down. I should be looking at it, but I'll be corrected if I'm wrong. Up on the corner up there, it says a contact list. You click on that, you get a screen, and you have to fill out the screen. It's pretty simple. The subject is Captain, capital C, APTAIN. That's the subject. But fill out the form exactly as it requests. Now, if it says to check or uncheck a block, check or uncheck the block, it says. Fill it out exactly. And I mean exactly. Don't add a space or a period or a comma or a hyphen. No, just like it says. It's very simple. It's done that way to keep the robots from getting to us. Yep. We all know the robots are going to take over one day. We know it's coming. So we've created this to keep the junk mail down. You go there, you put it in there, put all the information you need, contact list, and then you submit it. It takes a while, sometimes maybe 15 seconds, 20 seconds, before you get a response back to the email you provided. That quick. You get the up-to-date version of the contact list as it exists at that moment, which means if somebody went in this morning and added some contacts, they're going to be on there. I'd be on there. Dan will be on there. A whole bunch of these folks will be on there. And that's how they had these conversations that you've heard about tonight. I mean, Scott and Dane had a big conversation. Brenda gets in on these things. You know, we called each other. Kate Bozier called Scott about a T-shirt and yada, 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 yada. And it's a family function. And we're all family. So if you'd like to get a contact list, that's how you go about it. If you can't figure it out, contact us. Just tell us you can't make it work. We will help you. There's no
Eddie?
magic to it. No money will ever change hands. Yes.
I got a warning about that. If you call somebody on the list Make sure you got time to talk because us wood turners love to talk. Sometimes you
Yeah.
can't get off the phone with them. It might be a
Don't know how to
2-hour
shut up.
conversation.
Yep.
We don't know how to shut up. That guy said, I'll just shut up. I never knew anybody could do that. But the beauty is they'll say, hey, what kind of wood you got?
Yeah, right.
What are you working with today? And hey, look, for the news, for the newsletter, we had 12 goals for 2024. And I can't see mine right now. Let me see where here it is. For January, it was new year, new to me. Show pieces using a tool or new to a technique that's new to you. For February, for loved ones, share something you made for a loved one, anything from rings to urns. Goes right on through the end of the year. It's a great little outing. It's kind of get your brain working. Okay, things you want to know, want to dream about, but this sets little goals, and with these little goals, you just keep clicking along. You've seen the picture frames tonight. Last week we did a little medallions. If there's something you want to see us do, talk to us about it. If there's a demonstration you would like to do, now you say, well, I don't have all these cameras and all. You know, some of the best demonstrations we've seen in this meetings, we've had 226 meetings. Some of the greatest demonstrations we've seen have been shot with a simple iPhone. That's right. No production equipment. Shoot them with an iPhone, edit them with any one of the free programs that are out there, and we help you with all those. That information is on our website on how to do that and get to it, put them together, edit it, etc. We help you out with all that. And if you need personalized help, let us know. Send us a note. Give us a call. Get the list. I told you tonight I had to get my old Hewlett Packard out in order to do that conversion thing for the newsletter. My brain disease is deteriorating some things where I can remember functions. It's really terrible when I sit in what used to be the shop in the house and you look at things and say, God, I remember when I could take that and do this or do that, and I see what you do, and you want to take it a step further. In the back of your mind, you know, I can figure that out. I sat in the clinic the other day and looked at finials on a table piece, and one was broken, and I'm sitting there thinking, boy, you know, if I still had things rigged up, I could turn that finial in probably 45 minutes to an hour. But I would turn all four because I wouldn't have the right color wood. So I make all four of my different type of wood. And, you know, yada, yada, yada. You go through that, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yep.
that's why we have gallery here, is to spark that invitation, get that going a little bit and say, oh, you know what? I can do that. And not only can I do it, I can take it up a notch. See, and that's what we're looking for. So if you can do that, you can take it up a notch, or if you need help getting that extra notch, let us know, because trust me, we're not afraid of anything here. And if you've seen the demos that it went to the floor, and we've had a few go to the floor or to the burn pile if they choose. But we've also, I mentioned a turn a little while ago. He's a great favorite of ours. That was doing a demonstration for us one night, cutting away at it, and all of a sudden something went south. Did not blink. Cut a new tailpiece, another dead man, chucked it up, and finished it off as a different type of project without blinking. He had a good piece of turning wood in a shop, sharp tools, time. What else do you need? And Kay Bolger saved that piece. But he didn't get the piece he was aiming for. Oh, that wood wasn't reserved. He turned, and all of a sudden, maybe the wood turned on him. So that's what we're looking for. If and what Tim Hatch has checked out because he's got to get up early in the morning. But Tim says those are the kind of projects they go to the recovery room. Tonight, somebody had a project and he said, you need to send it to the recovery room to save it. That comes about a lot in what we do. And what I like is we all get together when you do that recovery room project. We don't want you to do it and hide it. We want you to do it and bring it back. I can't remember the name of the turner. He came in early tonight where a gallery had him that he saved from last week or a week before last. But at the time that he was doing it, he said, this is probably going to go to the burn pile. And while we were doing the gallery, he said, but then maybe it's going to go to the recovery room. And he did recover it. And I apologize. I'm terrible with names. If I'm not looking at it written down someplace, I can't go there. But we come up with these fixes. And sometimes that's a little more interesting than a regular turning project. It's saving a turning project. And I love to have that little challenge. How can you hold that? And tonight, that beautiful piece that we saw, that was a guy, I don't know how to figure it out. The piece, to me, it was upside down, backwards and inside out. It was beautiful. And somebody said, how do you hold that? And how many times did it hit you when it was going around? Because it was 90% air and 10% flying wood. And he was quite proud of it. What's that?
Todd with the big stump.
Todd did that.
The root ball, yeah.
The root ball. Beautiful, beautiful. And the whole time he's holding it, I'm trying to think, how in the hell did he hold that thing? How did he do it? And then it's not how did he hold it to get it started? How did he hold it to finish it? And at what point when you went front back, and I have chucked pieces up over a volleyball, up over a ball that went and bought at the home Walmart to hold the piece so it wouldn't keep flying. I duct taped it to it so I could get it shaped. There are things we go through, and most of y'all are thinking, anybody saw me do that? No, I produced over 500 videos in my career. And a lot of times you never saw what I went through to save a piece or put a piece up. Only because I didn't want you to see what I would go through to save a piece of wood, because I didn't want to tempt you into trying to do what I did or beat me at it. And that's why we're restricted about what we see here. Because if I show you how to do something wrong, you might be foolish enough to follow me and do it wrong. So sometimes when we say, we can't do that, it's just because we're trying to protect the folks that might not know the difference.
Right.
How many times do you need to touch the stove before you find out it's hot? Bang your finger in the door before you find out it's not supposed to be there. That's why we are very careful about what we demonstrate. We've had some great offers. Guys said, I can do this, but it's such and such. Hold it. What do you mean, but? I've been in demonstrations with professional turners and watched the piece blow up and go all the way across the room because he wanted to turn the speed up to put on a better show.
Uh-huh.
I didn't go for the show. And I really didn't like the demonstration because the show took away from the demonstration. The better demonstration was, let me show you what it really takes to do this. So when we get together, remember that, folks, we're all sharing. And I want to see the good, the bad, and the ugly, but I want everybody to understand when it is ugly, it's ugly. So we had a good time this evening. And somebody just corrected and said it was John Sowell with the big root turning. Like I said, folks, be looking at this picture and I won't know. All I can tell you is some awesome work popped up tonight. We had a great demonstration had some great tips and hints. And we've talked to a whole lot of our friends and family. Hope to see you back here next Wednesday.
Speaking of tips and
bring-
tricks, speaking of tips and tricks, March 13th.
March. Oh, we're gonna do that again?
Yes, sir.
Is
March
it, are we officially calling the Duxbury Inn?
Yes.
The Duxbury Hour?
Yeah.
It's the Duxbury Hour, March 13th. I gotta write that in. That's when we do tips and tricks. And if you haven't been around for those, the entire meeting is demonstration free, except we go into each and every one of your workshops and look for something that's unique. And you tell us what you have and how you use it to do something interesting. You see, you have a secret. We want to know what it is. We want you to share. So it's March 13th, tips and tricks. And we've really had some great programs. And we've gotten away from it for a while, but now we do it quarterly. And it's a great chance for you to show me what I missed. Yeah. Somebody said, you seem to have it all. No, I don't have what you have. I want to know what it is. And we all have them. Every one of us have them. So let's get there. So join us again next Wednesday night. We're going to have a good time here. WorldwideWoodTurners.org. Save the chat before you bump out tonight. And in the words of Safety Sue, be safe. And I did say save the chat. Be safe. Come back as healthy as you are today. And be good. All right. See y'all next week, folks.
Great meeting.
Yes, it was.
They changed the formatting on this Zoom thing. Some of the old buttons aren't there anymore, are they?
Yeah.
It is.